structure that's visible. Science means the study of the natural realm or the natural world. Why are we as neuromelanated people not studying, learning, and decoding all fields of science? Where did the eukaryotic cell come from? Because the evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told to the neuromelanated species of this planet. We're gonna wait for more people to come in. Tap and share the live. Evolution, the biggest lie ever told. We are not all one human race. And people who disagree or agree, I want to hear your reasoning why. Because your mind, your thoughts, your decisions shape the reality in the society that we live in. So I would like to hear your mind and why you think it is the biggest lie or not. They still don't know where my blood comes from. RH negative blood. RH negative blood. Okay, that means that you don't have the rhesus monkey protein. But what are they saying that your blood is? Because you're RH negative, but that's a protein that's found in rhesus monkeys that creates the blood type. So all so-called black people on this planet, we are RH negative because we don't have rhesus monkey proteins within our red blood cells. Naturally, we don't produce these proteins. But when we come into contact with unnatural organisms, unnatural chemicals and substances, that affects our red blood cells. So yes, so-called black people, we don't have a blood type. Our blood type is solar magnetic sun blood. That's what we have. Our blood is synthesized by sunlight. I mean, according to cymatics, the most intelligent being in the universe is the one who can absorb the most sunlight, absorb the most solar radiation, because solar radiation is what creates the atmosphere of the universe. That's what solar radiation does. It creates the atmosphere of the universe. So I have been hitting books. Morphic Resonance, see what I'm saying? The Formative Causation of Life, which is by Dr. Sheldrick, Rupert Sheldrake. And I also have Why Darkness Matters, The Power of Melanin in the Brain. See what I'm saying? Which is written by 4 neuroscientists. See what I'm saying? Dr. Ancy Brown, Dr. T. Owens Morse, Dr. Edward Bruce Byam. They're all talking about how there's a group of people on this planet with prokaryotic cells that have neuromelanin, and they have a different morphology and embryogenesis than different group of people who have eukaryotic cells and vitrosynthetic eumelanin and pheomelanin, which is lab-made melanins. Exactly. You keep trying to quote everything that I'm saying, but you're not coming up and discussing anything with me. How about, let me just send you an invite and you can come up. Come up and explain to me how the evolution theory is real. Come up and explain to me how we are all one human species. Come up and explain to me how nature naturally selected you to not absorb solar radiation on a solar radiated planet. Come up and explain to me. What blood type are you? I'm sun blood. My blood is synthesized by liquid sunlight. All of my corpuscles inside of my red blood cells are literal pockets of light that hold photonic energy. So if you're a neuromelanated organism, you also have that. If you have animal DNA, you have animal blood types, which is the ABNO system, which is found in apes, pigs, dogs, cats, which are introgressed animals, which are unnatural mixed animal hybrids. So you shouldn't be eating according to the animal blood type that these people placed on you with these proteins by graping us, and the fact that you're eating them and the pathogens that they put in the air. You should be eating according to your genetic makeup, which is magnetic foods, foods that grow from sunlight and terrestrial radiation from the ground, that are not hybridized. So tap and share the live, y'all. Abundance. Star?
Yeah,
Star.
greetings.
Yeah, abundance. So
Yeah,
we spoke to you last time about the evolution theory, and you wasn't able to explain to us how we were all one human race. And you wasn't able to explain to us how we went from prokaryotes to eukaryotes. You see what I'm saying? So I just want you to go ahead and expound on that and share your thoughts and visions on the evolution.
bro, I already give you I already give you, my breakdown on all that. And I said to you that, there's no point being on TikTok trying to debunk me. I'm not the international authority and consensus on these issues. You should put together a paper where you debunk all their consensus assertions. After you debunk them, then I'm sure TikTok will be small fry for you at that stage. You have a couple of interviews in the papers, blogs will write about your work, and people will be chasing you around. You won't even be dealing with opening TikTok spaces no more to talk to a handful of people.
Yeah, that
You know,
I don't chase that type of lifestyle because that's at the dispense of my children and my people. I don't want
dispense how?
because again, the companies that you're telling me that is going to be writing about me is made by the same people who's abusing our children and the same people who's altering stories so they can again snatch our children. This is why 8 million children go missing around the planet. You see what I'm saying? And 70 and 80% of those children that are going missing look like you. So I'm not worried about writing a scientific paper. I'm worried about being a beacon of light to my people and waking up an inner light within them by just being an example and shedding light on the truth. All need to be moving with the embodiment of truth, of knowledge of self. We don't need to be teachers of each other. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be a prophet. I just want to be amongst a part of a great civilization and a great species. And the way we do that is if we all move through with intellect, if we all move through life with intellect. So what you was telling me, that's false. That's human. That's a human life. You're telling me to still be a part of the system, to still use AI, to still use the monetary system, to still use the financial system, to still use the medical and judicial system. You're telling me to use all of those systems that was created to create sulcuses in our brain, that was used to disrupt the amygdala receptors of emotions in our brain. That's what you're telling me. So I'm cool with all that. What I'm going live for is to wake our people up so we can get back to our babies. Last time you came up here, you told me that I have more questions and you're gonna come up and find a way to tell me this isn't just about you. You see what I'm saying? You requested up on our live. You see what I'm saying? Or she sent you an invite and you came up. You see what I'm saying? So you wanted to speak though. You accepted the request and wanted to speak and then said before that the evolution theory is real. So that's what I'm talking about in this live. So I'm not the same as anybody else who's outside of neuromelanin. If you're saying you're the same as them, go ahead and prove that to us or stop lying to yourself and stop lying to the people around you and stop lying to the children around you.
Sorry,
That's
I
simple as
didn't
that.
catch the last bit. You said you're not something about anyone who's outside neuromelanin.
Yeah, I'm not genetically and biologically and chemically the same as a white man, an Asian man, and an Arab man, and a Dravidian man because they possess unnatural DNA, synthetically made DNA, which is in vitro, which means lab made, in vitro synthetic EU melanin, in vitro synthetic neuromelanin, and in vitro synthetic pheomelanin. Those are unnatural DNA structures that create homeobox genes, which is the same genetic template that mice have, fruit fly has, dog has, they have the same genetic template of a dog. So if you was to turn certain genes off and on, they will start to grow certain characteristics of the dog, of the chimpanzee. This is why you see these people with cutaneous horns. You see these people with hypertrichosis. You see these people born with tails.
Wow.
So
Okay. So
you've never seen a so-called black baby born with any of this morphological traits.
okay. So what's the origin of black people, and what's the origin of all these other people with these synthetic melanin you're talking about?
I already explained that to you last live, so I'm gonna have to move on to the next guest. You showing me that you haven't upped your intellect from the last time I talked to you. You see what I'm saying? You
Bro,
should be learning yourself. No, 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 no. Because last time you was telling me I was wrong. You was telling me I was completely wrong, and you
you
and you
must not have made a convincing argument at all. Because, see, and you see, this is why I said you have to make a case and, you know, overthrow the established consensus. Because if you're even trying to teach your people, you don't expect them to just come into a TikTok live, listen to you, and just believe it and run with it. You have to show them proof. And the only way to show that proof is to debunk the international consensus, because that's what most people know. So
Okay,
it's like,
like you really have not, you just haven't done any research since the last time that we talked to you. And you could just say that, right? Because you told us you were going to do the research on your own. We don't need to put together a national consensus because there's already scientists doing that. Dr. Carter just dropped a documentary 2 days ago debunking evolution. I'm in my 20s. We're both in our 20s. Do you know how many people have debunked evolution prior to us being born? Like,
um,
I don't understand. Like,
to debunk
no,
evolution.
no scientist, like Rupert Sheldrake, Dr. Rupert Sheldrake is literally talking about how evolutionary biologists can't even agree on the same thing. And you want me to put together a consensus to debunk something that they can't even agree on, because
exactly.
the basis of it is how haploids turn into diploid cells, and that has not been observed in nature. They have only been able to do that in vitro in a lab. So we got you. You haven't done any research since then. That's cool. Tubule, go ahead.
Go ahead and share your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
Well, I was curious why you think evolution is the biggest lie ever told. Like, why do you think so?
No, no, no. You requested up to tell me why it is. Because again, on the board it says the evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told. So if you saying that is true, go ahead and prove to me how all haploids change into diploids.
I'm not too well versed on that topic. I'm just curious. Yeah, like ideology related to your belief. Like, what made you believe it?
It's not my belief. This what I'm talking about is happening in nature all the time. We've never seen you can go right now. We are living in a society right now. We've never seen a so-called black woman produce a white baby, an Asian baby, an Arab baby, a Dravidian baby. We've never produced any of y'all, but somehow you trying to say you're the same species as us, and we're not, because we have two different morphological phenotypes. We have two different phenotypes, which is determined by our genotypes, which is our genetics. So if we have two different phenotypes, we have two different genetics. So everything in between dealing with the microcosm and macrocosm is different. Our tissues, organs, cells, everything is different from each other. We're not the same. So that means we react to the UV light differently. When we're under the sun, we absorb the full spectrum of the sun. Everybody outside of us, they don't absorb the sun. They're repellent to the sun. The sun is carcinogenic to them. So there's no way we can be the same species. This is why it's the biggest lie ever told, because these people who are spewing lies saying that we are the same species are guiding and teaching our children, are medically evaluating our people and children. and are policing us on this planet when they don't share the same genomics as us. They don't have no
Uh,
biological identification on the planet, but they're trying to dictate where biology should go by creating synthetic biology.
oh, I'm gonna be on my way. That's all I was curious about. I hope you, I don't know, hope you have a good evening or night, or I don't know, wherever you're from. I hope you have a nice life. So, bye.
Abundance. I'm from wherever the sun touch. All my people are from wherever the sun touches at. So yeah, the evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told. The biggest lie ever told. And people who want to spew different verbiage in this soliloquies in the comments, just tell me, how do we go from haploids to diploids? Tell me how we're the same. The evolution theory is a lie. It goes against time because time is not even real. So we need that proof. Stop asking me for proof on how we're different when that's the natural foundation of life, is that I'm different from you because I do produce different protein enzymes than you. So tell me how we are the same. None of your scientific articles from evolutionary biologists, cell biologists, they're not saying we're the same. They're saying that we both exist in the same environment, but they don't know how you spawned it here. And if they were to tell you extraterrestrials exist, now we can see who else knows about genetics and biology that can bring you into life. And then we see different reptilian statues all over the world of them splicing genetics for over 400,000 years. So again, we're not the same species. We shouldn't be living together in the same society. We shouldn't be getting policed by y'all. We shouldn't be getting medically and psychologically evaluated by y'all. None of that should be going on. None of that. So if you're living in the society and you're trying to get out of this, we don't need to go through a rigorous system. We don't need to go through their court system. We don't need to do none of that shit. We need to stop participating. Stop participating in a system that is consistently poisoning you. And how do you do that? By literally seeing what is poisoning you. By literally acknowledge that you are being poisoned first. Then you can know how to dismantle it. Our people are being abused.
Okay, like, what's up, Rupert Sheldrick? Is that your question? Because I typed it out in the comments to you, and I also said it.
Okay, go ahead, Mother of Life Educator, and then we'll keep moving forward.
Yeah, how are you? The evolution of biggest lie. Of course, so I want to say something to Starman because he sounds very ignorant and saying that me calling myself an educator. I used to be a school teacher, so I understand science. And the thing is, we just had 3 major earthquakes that hit, I think, Venezuela, Japan, and California back to back, on top of the 17 solar flares, which is telling us that the earth is shifting back to a divine feminine energy and dealing with this matriarch and this 12 strand DNA. That's what's going on the planet. And then the people that's acting crazy, like Starman, a lot of them are not, well, they don't understand. In order to make this shift into consciousness, you have to first accept that your cells are going to go through a biochemical process. These people do not understand basic science, which is prokaryote and eukaryotes. Those are the atoms. And that's the problem I see listening to a lot of people. They come on these lives with you or just listen to a lot of different scholars that just come up here that's presenting truth. And people can literally go in their bodies and see that, what they have it. They're not going to do that. The sun is literally changing everybody's DNA on a cellular level. So that they're telling you about this zombie apocalypse. People's cells are being deleted via the gamma radiation. That's literally what's going on. And we're going to end up seeing a lot of them crashing out because that acute radiation, they have acute radiation, then they have acute body radiation, where their body is being attacked and then the cell structure is being attacked because they're filled with nitrogen oxide and sulfur and ammonia. When you put those three elements together with gamma radiation, it is a combustible gas. They're not ready for this conversation. So we're going to see a lot of them crashing out. But the problem is people don't understand the basic fundamental of life is an atom. There are two species, and that's prokaryote and eukaryote, and that's the thing. And I love the fact that you all are teaching that because that is where everything starts. And then you're grouped into different categories of that species. They can't comprehend that. So if they can't comprehend that, you already know they're not gonna be on the planet that much longer. Because with this solar planet, because you have to have, we are called the children of the sun. You have to walk on the planet without ozone layer. We don't need ozone layer. And in order to have electricity, you have to have water. You have to have fresh water. Because the water and the sun, the gamma radiation have to come together. That's called physics. And it does electromagnetic because the universe is made of electrons, which is electromagnetic pulses. They're not even ready for that. So if you can't even understand the basic of the fundamental of the universe and the cosmos and how black women literally have the DNA, you're not shifting with us. It's just that simple. The sun is not getting ready to argue with people on this planet. The sun is going to ask, are you natural or not? And oxygen is an inorganic chemical substance that we don't need. Because when you're a breatharian, you breathe in the carbon of the sun. We have to have, black people are supposed to be out in the sun 2 hours a day. When the gamma radiation, the UV index is 11, you're supposed to be outside. The sun is trying to cleanse your DNA. That's all. Now I'm gonna land my plane.
Facts, abundance for that. We are literally the sun walking in a hydrocarbon suit. And facts, there is a zombie. The zombie apocalypse already started. They're already eating raw meats on the street. They're already doing these things. They're already performing cannibalism. You see what I'm saying? So our people got to realize that we're living amongst a dangerous, erratic species that can just make any type of decision at will. Like, we got to understand that. So this is why we go live, is so we can understand that through biology, through chemistry, through neurology, through physics, quantum physics, astrophysics, that we are completely different from y'all. So we have a different path in life that we need to be going through. And that's in nature. We are going to have to find ourselves in nature. We can't find ourselves in this unnatural environment with the asphalt, with the light pollution, with the noise pollution, with the sugar, so I'm saying, with the meats, with the eukaryotics. We can't find ourselves here. So the main focus, it should be detaching and learning with what we have. You see what I'm saying? So that's why our people need to stop being scared of science. We all, millions and millions of us, has to be walking on this planet knowing and understanding who we are biologically, genetically, and chemically. We have to do that. That's the only way you can reach ascension as a species. It doesn't mean that you have to eat the same as me, but meaning, like, if I eat a watermelon today and you can eat an apple today, that doesn't mean that you have to eat the same watermelon at the same time, at the same day. It's just that we both have to understand that, okay, I'm composed of this and you're composed of that. And this is how I'm supposed to utilize my energy regardless. You see what I'm saying? So that's why this is the biggest lie ever told. Anything else that we're talking about is you're just fueling separation, fueling division, and you're not creating a harmonic convergence throughout the universe. You're actually harming how we're supposed to be. You're harming us. So I really just want people to come up and tell me how we're the same, because we believe in this shit. That's what the atmosphere is that we're creating on this society, is that we think that we're the same as them, but somehow we're scared to speak about it. People still want this system to tell them the truth. The system is living in the truth. The system was built on the truth. Look at your surroundings. The planet that you're living on is the truth. The sun is the truth. The prokaryotic animals and natures is the truth. He said monkeys is our cousin. Monkey might, hold on, is that a brother? How is monkeys our cousins? Go ahead and genetically and biologically explain that to me, how monkeys is our cousins. And he said, I still need you to explain how we digest. I already explained that.
In the request box.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I added him up. It says waiting for him to join. And people who have no intellectual background of science, which is the study of the natural world, want the most explanation on things, but they don't want to generate their own inner drive to go learn these things, to actually power up their own neurons and fire their own synapses, which is going to keep them at 3 to 5% of the truth. Because these scientists are telling us the truth. They're just, the science fiction is when they add their anatomy into it. When they show you Marvel, that's real science. It's just as soon as you see a eukaryotic organism on that screen, now it becomes science fiction because this organism is a genetically modified organism. If they showed you on the screen only so-called black people in Marvel, there's no way you can call it science fiction because our genetics really move and operate that way because of the immortal particles that make up our DNA. You see what I'm saying? That's what the movies is for. Yeah, I ain't worried about we live in a regulated system. How is monkeys, yeah, Michael, go ahead and tell me genetically and biologically how so-called black people are connected to monkeys to where they can be our cousins. He left on his own. What the hell? I don't know what happened, but I know you left on your own.
Yeah, the person that's saying immortal particles, like, just because you hear something that you've never heard before does not make it pseudo. Like, you're literally on your phone. You can look up what these are. You can look up atoms. You can look up electrons and protons. Like, you need a base understanding that atoms turn into molecules and molecules turn into tissues, which create cells. So I don't know why you're like immortal particles. Yeah, they're literally just atoms in another density or frequency. So this is why I think you really should have done some research from the last time that we talked to you until now, because now you're asking the same level of questions that you did last time, and you could have gained more consciousness by now. And that's what the sister just explained to you. Earth is at a different resonance.
Mm-hmm.
Earth is a conscious being. That's what morphology is explaining. Earth has a natural resonance, and it's measured through the Schumann resonance. There are tools to so-called measure her consciousness. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural is a brain book. There's brain scans in there. It talks about the heart rate visibility machine being able to measure the intensity of the heart. So how do you not think that there's not a way for them to measure or keep track of Earth's resonance? They keep trying to play.
Exactly.
Like you're trying to downplay, like just because you haven't heard something before doesn't make it not true because you haven't heard it.
And a lot of our people think that them being the complete organism is not made up of cells. It's not made up of tissues. It's not made up. You just think you have organs, and that's as far as you go. Well, these organs have tissues, and they're made up of cells. And these cells either behave or function like eukaryotes, or they behave and function like prokaryotes. And prokaryotes are photoautotrophs. They can pull in the sun's chemical. They pull in the sun's UV light or electromagnetic light through photonic energy, and through ultra fast internal conversion, change that light energy into chemical energy and disperse that through all the cells evenly, so all the cells can have the right amount of enzymic reaction to create the chemical reaction in the body for the proper cellular structure, for the proper cellular splitting and diffusion. This is what it is.
The highest level of cell potency is totipotency, which is the most abundant cell to be able to differentiate into any other cell in the body. So just a simple story of knowing not just Henrietta Lacks, right, but also Simeon Toko. It's crazy how, like, people that claim to have like degrees or claim to be like in a prestigious line of work, whenever they hear something outside of their education, they think it's pseudo. That's something that I've noticed in the last 4 years,
Yeah.
like of talking about this, like actually talking to kinesiologists, talking to the biologists, the people that are studying, like trying to get their degree. I'll never forget, what was the boy's name? Beans?
Beansy.
No, not Beansy. That's another YT boy that literally had a base understanding of evolution. And he finally, after 2 weeks, he said, respectfully, y'all are onto something. Now, whenever he comes around to the lives, I've seen him in the past 2 lives, he just asks questions to gain a better understanding of what he already knows, because we've already debunked that same shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So people that understand, listening to this in real time, they're like, oh, okay, I get it now. Now I see what you're saying. The people that aren't studying, mortal cells, pseudoscience, see? That's what I'm saying, man. You got to look into the science and then connect all branches of science to itself. That way you can have a better understanding of the reality that you're navigating and the suit that you're in.
Exactly, because again, it's actually embarrassing that we can't even just use our own morphic fields and brains to decode life without the help of AI. That's the problem. We have to rely less on AI to get information. Our brain is a quantum computer. It literally processes information, and information is molecules. Books, you see what I'm saying? It helps you structure what you're seeing. You see what I'm saying? But again, it doesn't process atom molecules and cells. Computers, they don't do that. But again, they use DNA sequencing machines, computers, to do that, to make eukaryotic cells. So that's for them. We don't need AI to help our cosmic intelligence. You see what I'm saying? We need to be more connected to the technology that our mother gave us, which is neuromelanin. That is how we have extrasensory perception. So that's like I just want our people to understand that DNA is literally your answer to everything. You see what I'm saying? Your morphogenetic field and your DNA, and how the mother of life, how baby been saying it, is we got to look at the cells, the 2 cellular types that exist throughout the entire cosmos. Eukaryotic cells only exist here. They're only being created here. All other life on other planets are prokaryotes. See what I'm saying? Prokaryotic doesn't mean that you're made up of one cell. It means that all of your genetic material stems from one cell, which is the totipotent stem cell that we were talking about, which is the immortal cell that we were talking about.
And I just put in the chat, are you smarter than a fifth grader? I don't know if anybody remembers that show that used to be popular like in the like the 2010s. Like if you've ever matter of fact, I'm finna start watching episodes of that show again because that'll help sharpen neurogenesis. You think that what you like when you say fifth grade science or fifth grader, that's some real intricate science there. Like most adults that come on that show can't answer past 10 questions because they're programming children in school to keep you at a base level, right? But then when you look at everything that all the branches of science entail, you see what I'm saying? That's where adults go wrong. They don't gain an extra understanding. They don't expand their knowledge. And so the people that do, they get called pseudo. That show right there is literally like a documentary to me because all these different science teachers, professors, regular people that claim to understand science, that claim to be well versed, they have their knowledge tested at a fifth grade level. And it's really hard for people to hang with a lot of the questions that are asked. So I just wanted to throw that out there. There's a reason why they have a show called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Not to and not to cut you off. Remember, I was saying I taught fifth grade. And that was my favorite grade because they're very intelligent, and that's the grade you teach prokaryotes and eukaryotes, which is the cell structures.
Yeah.
Right there. That's it. And you teach them about the sun being an ultraviolet light. They're very intelligent in fifth grade. And that's my favorite grade.
Yeah, my mom taught seventh and eighth grade science for a long time, like for like almost a decade. So I know that it's taught at that level too. Like they expand on that, all the way up through ninth grade to ninth grade biology. So you start out understanding the basics at like 10 years old. By the time you're 14, you should be able to really be able to like converse in a discussion like this, a 14-year-old. So we just want to throw that out there.
Exactly. Like, you don't need to go to an artificially made school to learn about the universe when she is everywhere. See what I'm saying? The planet that you're on is the learning environment that you need to be in. The herbs that's all around you, the trees, the rocks, the water, all of that is around you for you to learn. Okay, he keeps coming up.
Go
But
ahead.
guys, I mean, I hope you're not claiming you are doing science, because if you are, then why are you so afraid to go up and challenge the established international consensus on the science?
No one
If you're
said that
actually
we were
doing science.
scared. No one said that we were scared. You keep talking about a national consensus that I'm telling you decades before I was even born, that evolution has been debunked. Why, like, it's crazy how you're trying to put fear on me
No,
when
it's
I
not.
keep telling you that a ninth grader can hold in this discussion. Like a ninth grader can just ask their teacher, hey,
It hasn't been debunked. Are you saying DNA has been debunked? Because DNA
no,
proves
evolution is
evolution.
the biggest lie ever told. The theory of how we went from haploids to diploids has been debunked, and because it's never been seen in nature, it has not been proven.
Wait, hold on. But humans have both. In fact, living things have both cells. They're just two different types of cells. It does, it's not like there's a particular type of human that's only made of haploid or prokaryotic cells, and that type that's made of only eukaryotic. Come on, man.
But again,
So you guys want me to believe this, but where are you getting it
Humans don't have prokaryotic cells. They have 50 trillion cells in their bodies. You see what I'm saying? 25 trillion of those cells are eukaryotic cells. But all of those cells, really all 50 trillion of those cells are eukaryotic cell, because eukaryotic cells, meaning that you have more than one genetic material from an outside source within your genomics to help your cell function. That's what a eukaryotic cell means. So when they say a multicellular organism, that means you have multiple cells in your body from different organisms that cannot naturally reproduce with each other in nature. So you're an organism that needs the DNA and blood and of other organisms to regenerate yourself and your species. That is a
Uh,
parasite.
uh,
That
okay.
you know that, right?
Yes, I know there's parasites
So
that live within.
that what I just said about a eukaryotic cell, that is a parasite. You see what I'm saying? Eukaryotic cells are spliced organisms.
Spliced by, okay, yeah, extraterrestrial life. But then you said humans being you no, God, being prokaryotic cells can synthesize sunlight and break down air for nutrition. So the question is, why do humans need a digestive system? Why do they even need food?
Okay, so-called black people are not humans. Again, so humans need DNA and blood from other organisms to sustain life on the planet, to sustain cell growth and cell division. That's what they need. They need that for a regeneration. So-called black people, our digestive tracts is only made for liquids and air. It's really not made for solids.
Wow.
The fruits and vegetables is made for the organisms on the planet. We are photoautotrophs. You see what I'm saying? We are breatharians. There's different ways that we need to be breathing to feed different parts of our bodies, to unlock different parts of our bodies, and to illuminate our meridians and nerves for our ascension and growth, so we can start doing galactic magnetic abilities again. So we don't need it. We don't need food. We don't need food to break down and metabolize. We metabolize quantum particles. We
Whoa.
metabolize photons, and the way we do that is by clearly synthesizing. It's called biosynthesis of the sun, synthesizing the solar energy, and through vibration and frequency, heat and pressure, we can change that light into chemical energy, which
So
is translate
do
which
you
translate
practice this? Do
we
you practice
translate
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
we translate the code of the light code of the sun into chemical energy, different fructose, different, because again, fruits and all of that comes from atoms, and all of those atoms come from the inside of the thalamus of all neuromelanated people on this planet. We create alkaloids from our neuromelanin and our pineal gland. We create all of these different natural periodic elements on the table. We create that through our pineal gland.
Okay, can I explain something to the sister? Because, like, I feel like what I said is getting taken out of context. So, I was telling Starman that having a base understanding of prokaryotes and eukaryotes is what will help you hang in the discussion. It's just a terminology, like a phrase that I use, hang in the discussion. So, educator came off mute. And she said, I used to be a science teacher. In fifth grade is where they lay the foundation for prokaryotes and eukaryotes. That's what I was talking about. All right. I didn't say anything about evolution and everything that was taught in school, because I also said that they give you a basis in school, and it's up to you as an adult to continue to expanding on what school is telling you is the basis of life.
Yeah.
So I don't like, I just, this one is one you're going to have to like actively listen and put things together in context clues and like comprehend, because each word is intricate and very important to the discussion we're having. It's not like any other discussion. So I hope that like gives more insight, because in everything they mix truth and lie, but it's up to you to make sense of that based off of nature, based off of what is true and cyclical.
And again, we who went to school, we wasn't supposed to be in there. She's just saying that if you did go in there, this is what they taught you. You see what I'm saying? So again, when we're debunking their science, you're saying we're more well versed in their science. Again,
this is our science.
This is our science. I'm being well versed on the lie that they're putting on our people, saying that our anatomy is the same. This is why we're going live saying that evolution theory is the biggest lie ever told, because in school, they tell us it's a fact. In school, they tell us we're all one human race. So they do in school tell you about prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. But that child, that neuromelanated child listening to that doesn't know if they're prokaryotic or eukaryotic, because their parents is sending them to school and is not teaching them. So we already understand this. The problem is our people is afraid of science. You see what I'm saying? We're more well versed in history and how they poison us and how they perform scientific experiments on us. Okay, if they're performing scientific experiment on us, why don't I need to know who I am scientifically so I can stop that transaction from happening? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're not getting.
Hold on, Starman. Hold on, Starman. Give me 1 second, okay? Because I'm trying to actually talk to her. Cocos, if you can request up, feel free to do so. I see you're saying, right, school, government, and religion is all a lie, but when and how did you learn all this? I have told you this before, my sister. I literally have, in 3 lives ago, I told you that I've been studying this information collectively with my other half for like 11 plus years. I told you how this is nothing that we learned overnight. So the truth is something that you're always discovering, because you're in this vessel to gain knowledge of self. It's not a start and stopping point on the truth, right? So when I came into the consciousness of genetics, that ties in with everything else that I knew when it came to awareness, consciousness, the universal law, tectonic processes. They teach the truth in school. They just don't give you the full synopsis. They're telling you that we're all the same. So again, like he said, if your teacher teaches you prokaryotes and eukaryotes, you don't know who the fuck is who. That's on you, right? That's the lie that we're in here debunking, is that we're not all the same. So I don't know how we're getting off. You know, if you don't have a base understanding of what's true, that's probably because you're not studying nature. Respectfully, like, you got to look at what Mother Earth is naturally doing every single day and what will continue to happen. So if things happen outside of nature, like genetic engineering and introgression, which is what this live is about, I don't understand why we're grouping that in with the truth. Man has seeded life on this planet, right? Earth creates through biogenesis, meaning that everything will come through the same embryological origin, or it's here seeded, eukaryotic, true seeded nucleus. Prokaryote means before nucleus. Yep. All life breaks down to these 2 cells. So it's the truth is not hard to find when there's only 2 cellular form types for all of life. That's why I say you just need a base understanding of locking in with it. It's not about how much time and shit like that. It's just in 2 hours, I could sit down and study prokaryotes and eukaryotes and come out way better than when I started. From there, I would just expand and keep gaining more knowledge.
Exactly. The answer is literally in the cells. See what I'm saying? There's no such thing as white science. They're studying you. For them to be able to lie, they have to know the truth, which is you. The fuck? That's why this system exists. That's why the Roman Empire exists. That's why the Greek civilization exists. That's why the UK Empire exists. It's just ran by the same extraterrestrials.
I just don't understand how being condescending can be convoluted with what is truth or lie. If I'm condescending, that's my personality, right? If that's what you're saying, what does it have to do with what I'm saying being a truth or a lie? So if I'm condescending, say, hey, I don't like the way you coming off to our brothers and sisters. You're a little condescending, but don't try to take away from what I'm saying and try to say it's a lie or do you even know the truth? Like, that's not cool either, right?
Okay,
We've
but
already
what you
talked,
guys are
Starman. I'm talking to somebody in the comments, okay? So speaking of Starman, we've already talked to this man. You should have heard what he had to say to us. Now you're trying to say we're condescending to him, but you should have heard what the fuck he said to us for 3 straight hours. So that's what
what
y'all
did
be
I say to
forgetting.
you?
Like,
I
hold
wasn't
on,
condescending.
Starman. You see how he's cutting me off, sis? I'm trying to talk to you, and he knows that I'm talking to the comments, and he's been trying to overtalk Zell. He's been trying to overtalk me. So you got to understand how these people move first. Yeah, how they come into the live. You just came to the lives. We've been doing this for 4 years. Some people leave 6 months and they come back. You never know who's on the panel and who we're talking to if today's your first time being in the live.
All right, respect and abundance to the live, y'all. So go ahead. Somebody wanted to come up. I just saw
Can I?
somebody in the request back up. I don't know what happened. Go ahead, Starman. What have you been trying to say? Go ahead, brother.
I hope I'm not being mischaracterized as talking to you guys condescendingly. No, but please, if that's the case, then remind me of what I said. And then what you guys are doing is not actually how science works. You can't just do your own private science and then keep it to yourself. And
Private
then
You
science.
can take Starman.
and sorry, look, I have scientific theories too, but the ones I don't talk about them until I publish them.
Starman, that's on
And then
you. If you want to go based off of how the YT man is doing it, then be my guest. But that doesn't mean that I have to do it because you do. I'm still
see
bringing
see
information to the
the
public. You just want me to be as big as these YT scientists. And I'm not going to do that because they will never let our people get close enough to the truth because they're experimenting on us.
Exactly.
Like, if you
black.
I'll give you a source, New Hope Fertility. Okay, that is a company that literally says we want black people.
Yep.
Okay, for their stem cells. The scientist, the CEO of that company, you can go to YouTube right now, and he's saying it in the documentary.
And another
All of them
company,
do.
Cryptos.
Yeah, Cryptos.
Cryptos. They literally said we want more black individuals in here so we can use their DNA for what? To help genetically clone their species because they know our cells hold enough electromagnetic charge to power up an entire facility. One of our cells has the ability to do that.
What?
Yes, because again, it's made up of neuromelanin.
Starman.
We have neuromelanin granules which act as transducers and inducers again of light energy. We are photoautotrophs. They understand every time our cells and molecules start to notice that they undergoing molecular decay. They start to reorganize themselves back into existence. That's what immortal particles do. That's what totipotent stem cells do.
Wait,
So
sorry. Sorry.
so yeah, go ahead.
You said something I just wanted to clarify. Sorry to wait. You said something about generating energy. Are you saying because we have melanin? Are you saying our cells generate energy?
Yes, we are self-generating species. We are self-sustaining, self-reorganizing, self-repairing species. Every time, again, our cells and systems start to decay and reorganizing themselves back into existence. The only reason why people are so-called aging is because they have a reactive oxygen species that's affecting our integumentary system, our cardiovascular system, and neurological system and reproductive system. And that's all
Bro,
being affected by mucus, uric acid, carcinogens, pathogens, parasites, which all come from the eukaryotic cell, zoonotic diseases. This is all
bro,
slowing down the abilities that I'm telling you about. It's slowing down, it's causing leukorrhea inside of our women, which is stopping them from performing parthenogenesis. because of all of these diseases, because they're losing nutrients every month, because there's an unnatural species here.
Wait, sorry, bro. You said something about a cell being able to power a whole facility. That's what I'm trying to understand. That's why I
Yeah,
said I was asking if a cell could generate energy.
Yeah,
neuromelanin.
what do you think is inside of light bulbs? Is electrons. And electrons come from where? They come from the cosmos. They come from stardust. They come from molecular clouds, which is where stars are born. And star dust is also when it enters the atmosphere and all the way down to the biosphere, it becomes neuromelanin. And neuromelanin can go from a gas state, can go to a solid state, it can go to a liquid state, and through when it's in its gas state, it is directly enveloped with other quantum fields to create the physical body within the
Bro,
womb. Every time the so-called black woman is so-called pregnant, the Big Bang is happening inside of her. Of the creation of stars, solar systems is happening with inside.
bro. No. So can you show me somewhere where this cell is being used to actually power a facility, practically or
Okay,
theoretically?
okay. Again, you have to know what the cell is composed of. Nuclear and atomic BOMBSs are off of our DNA. Our DNA,
What?
yes, our DNA is
Whoa,
stardust. Do you know what stardust can do?
whoa.
Do
You
you know
blowing
what
my
stardust can
mind,
do?
bro. Wait, are you
Starman,
saying
why did you
there's
request that?
melanin in every
That's
Like,
what
nuke?
I'm
if you
saying.
don't believe
Wait,
nothing that we're saying, why are you up here?
no, you're blowing my mind. Are you saying there's melanin in every nuke?
No. Remember, there
Okay.
are 8 different types of melanin, right? 5 that are basic to this planet and natural that come through biogenesis or biogenetic processes, and then 3 that are synthetic, right? So when you get to neuromelanin, which is the only biochemical that is condensed sunlight and that can condense sunlight. That is what he's talking about. When you actually study the function of Oregon energy accumulators, black body radiators, and the tech that is used for the machines that they're doing these experiments on, that's what it breaks down to. They're not going to say, we're using black people's cells for this, because scientists don't talk black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian. They talk about the atom, they talk about chemical substances, they talk about
Hydrocarbon crystalline structures that power up solar systems. That's what we have. Hydrocarbon crystalline structures, nanodiamonds. And
Huh?
that powers up all the what's it called? The facilities that they have, because they use electrons to do it. And electrons make up this hydrogen. Electrons make up helium. They make up oxygen, nitrogen, carbon. Electrons make up those things.
Yeah, electrons. There's electrons in every single thing. So I
Well,
still
no,
want
no,
to know
no.
how
There's
they
not
use
electrons
melanin to
in.
power
There's not
these.
electrons in eukaryotic organisms, though. They don't have atoms like we do. They don't
My.
have
Sorry?
atoms. They're not made
They
up of
don't.
atoms. They're made up of synthetically made calcium ionospores, and these calcium ionospores have been isolated in a lab. You see what I'm saying? They're a
Bro.
synthetic chemical like you could have in a test tube that has been genetically fed through a fake uterus through an ectowomb and grown in a lab. The same way they grew a lamb in a lab. The same way you can grow a pig in a lab. You can grow fake 3D printed meat in a lab. It's the same way you can get a white man, an Asian man, and an Arab man, and a Dravidian man into existence.
Whoa. Wait, hold on. So, for the first time, there are things that exist that are not natural occurring elements.
yeah, periodic
Yeah,
table of elements and the ones that are man-made.
there's
What
there's
you mean?
man-made elements, you know that, right? There's man-made crystals, you
Wait.
know that, right? There's man-made plants, you know that, right? There's man-made fungi, you know that, right? Yes, there's man-made animals, and the man-made animals that I'm telling you about somehow is in the genomics of humans. Humans share DNA with chimpanzees, dogs, cats, fruit flies, which all have introgressed hybridized genes, which means that they have more than one genetic material within their cells to help it function.
Starman,
bro. Sorry, wait. Can I
yeah,
say
let
something?
him actually finish before you cut him off, okay?
Okay.
But go ahead.
You see why people like me say you should write your paper so that people like me can read, yeah,
There's no
and
people like
actually
Starman,
you, and there's no
and
people
actually
like. That's what you
you
got to
didn't read since
understand.
the last live we talked to
and
you, though.
actually get a proper grounding of what you're talking about. You throw in all these scientific words at me, many of them that don't even go together. I'm hearing all sorts of immortal particle, like bro, just sounding like just throwing scientific mumble jumble to get words to, like together doesn't it's that's not how it works,
To
bro.
come clean, if I was live, you would have been off of my panel by now, because why would you request up and then tell me everything that I'm saying is absurd? And then when I asked you the last time, you said, "Oh no, you're just blowing my mind." But then you're saying things like that. So again, it's like I said, the last time we talked to him, he was on the same thing.
Yeah,
Like, you're
I ain't gonna
telling me, "Oh,
lie.
I want you to write a paper." That's very lazy. That's like
You want me to
usurping
write a
someone's
paper, but what
energy.
I'm saying is mumbo jumbo. It sounds
Yeah,
like you have mental illness within your own vessel. It sounds like you have a
No.
you no, for real though, because again, I've been explaining to you this whole time my premise of why I say the things I'm saying, and all you're saying is I'm saying mumbo jumbo. I'm saying you're not actually coming at me intellectually to say what I'm saying is wrong. So if you can't prove what is wrong, why attack what I'm saying with your feelings? That doesn't show me that you have emotional intelligence. So you know what I'm saying? Why would you attack something I'm saying intellectually with logic and science? You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about molecules and cells and the different processes that these are undergoing, and you can't tell me how I'm wrong, but then you want to attack what I'm saying
Okay.
emotionally. How
Okay.
how does that tell me that we can be in the same society together, in the same civilization together, where we can share knowledge? We can't do that because you don't even want to upgrade your own knowledge. You consistently are talking about somebody writing a paper for you, somebody making a documentary for you, somebody doing something for you, somebody God putting it in the sky for you, saying that hey, you're this and they're that. You don't have no
Okay.
actual
Can I ask a
neurons. You don't
question?
have no actual neurons that are
Okay.
alive to to
Starman,
to to actually make your own instances on life.
Okay, let
How
me
is
ask you
it
a
like? That's what
question.
I'm saying.
Starman,
It's just.
Starman,
I just gotta
Starman, before you ask something,
hold on,
right?
hold on for a second. Testify. We're gonna get right to you actually. So go ahead and when you come off mute, go ahead and tell me
Mhm.
why the evolution theory is real, or if you disagree, go ahead and expand on that.
Host, my name is Testify. The reason why I came up right is not because of you, host, it's because of Starman. Sometimes things are too much for people because they don't
Greetings,
understand
testify.
things, but that's not the problem. Starman, you are a good guy. I know you from Kamikaze, right? But when you go to people's life, take it serious, man, my big brother. Even
I'm
even if
trying
it's
to
too much for
understand, believe
you,
me.
even if it's too much for you, man, Star man. But
Okay, testify. I got you on that. I appreciate
that's
that.
it.
But go
Hey,
ahead and
that's
tell
it,
me.
man. Do
I
your
got
thing,
you.
man.
I
Hey,
got what
Star man,
happened?
one love. One love to you, Star man. One love
Okay,
too.
abundance for that. But can you go ahead and tell me what you see?
Mm,
This
yeah.
is the reason why you need to know about evolution and why it's the biggest lie, and you need to be able to articulate it. The reason why you need to know that is because our children are going to get this information, and that's what's going to help shape our reality and their reality. So that's letting me know you don't care about that. So I'm saying I'm asking you about that as a brother, and you just worried about how another man is not understanding that. When we have a whole planet of children who don't understand who they are, we have 25 million children getting sent to their schools and not knowing who they are. So I appreciate that, but that's not really the main thing that we need to be focused on.
Yeah, so the thing is like
Somebody in
when
the
y'all
comments.
talking about reclassification, it's like I know a lot of our people are very aware that these people are connected to animal DNA and that they're a mixed animal hybrid, but y'all are trying to get reclassified by them. So you're saying that these people come from monkeys, but you want to be reclassified by them. That's my issue with the cognitive dissonance that our community has, is that we'll say all these things about these people, but we want their money, we want their system, we want their education, we want their homes, we want their fame, their fortune, all of it.
But we can't explain the genetic differences between another brother and
That's
sister
wild.
across the landmass. So, if that, go ahead, Trav, go ahead and explain to us what your thoughts and visions is on the evolution theory.
Okay, so this is the truth of it. You can go and research this yourself. Look up the Epithecus and look up the mutations that they carry. Because I never said I was human. That's something they did, and they put it on all of us because they taught us about what they were. Okay, and then go look up all of these people who share these same mutations. Go look up OCA 1 through 7, with the most prevalent being OCA 2. Okay, so everybody that look like us are not us because they share the same mutations as these people that we love to talk about so much, right? But those are their progenitors. They're not our progenitors, and they currently still are having them to this day.
Wait,
Okay,
are you
Can
trying
you
to
and just
say?
because they have and just because they have different political identities does not mean that the genetics is not there, because these are genetics that have been passed down for 10,000 years. So if we were the same people, we would be expressing the same genetics. Okay,
10,000
these
years?
things that we, yeah, these things that we get from our mother, our father, our grandparents, so forth and so on, because that's what passed down genetics, not evolution.
okay,
Evolution does
see,
not pass down genetics. Okay, so they didn't go to the farthest regions and over thousands and thousands of years they all of a sudden turned white teeth. They are born, they procreate with each other. Science called that breeding true. When they formed a community outside of their progenitors and started procreating with themselves, and that RR recessive gene was set by breeding true. That's what science calls it. Okay, so you can go
it's
look that
very
up in your own
interesting.
time.
Yeah, I got you with that.
You can,
It's
yeah,
crazy when okay,
you
I
can go
got
look it up
okay, why are you
in
over
your own
talking me?
time.
We
Why are
got
you
you.
over
We got
talking?
you.
We heard
Because I
you
was still
and we asked you a question that you didn't answer respectfully. We asked you to give us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory, not how these people are as a big grown organism. We asked you to talk about the cells that make up.
okay. So thank you for
Okay.
having
So
me
thank
up.
you for
No,
so
Yeah.
next time, answer the question, please. Right? You talked about reclassification, but you want to be reclassified by the same Astrocopithecus or whatever the fuck you saying. You want to be classified in their system as something. You're saying you're not the same, but you want to be classified as them. You want their classification in their title.
Yeah, and again, you said you when we asked you about the evolution theory, you went straight for the brothers and sisters across seas by saying that they have the same mutations as them. But again, we have antigens. We don't have the same mutations. These people added antigens, which are foreign substances, foreign proteins that affect the red blood cell and weaken the immune system and shuts down the immune system, shuts down the lymphatic system, and shuts down the lymphatic and glymphatic system. And your red blood cells are your red blood cells determine and influence your phenotype. So if there's antigens from animal proteins on those, if there's antigens from animal proteins on those red blood cells, that's going to affect how the organism is going to behave. So again, this we're not having the same mutations as these people. No matter what type of DNA and antigens that they put in us, we still through morphology, we still create the entire complete organism. But again, we can have birth defects, and we can have disruptions in our chemical receptors because again we are influenced by animal DNA.
You're saying why do Africans, but Elon Musk is African, isn't he? There are Ethiopians and Arabs over there that don't stem from the same embryological origin. So when y'all say Africans, you got to understand this discussion here is about genetics. It's not about titles. It's not about fictitious land masses. It's about genetics and your
Yeah,
biological
well, I never said
identity.
anything.
Hold on for a
Like,
second. Don't
damn,
come up
man.
talking when she's talking. We added you up for a reason.
My apology
Yeah,
Okay.
cause just
for the
relax.
claims.
Okay.
Wow, and you're still going.
So the thing is that we're having a discussion about cells and genetics. You put werewolf syndrome. I just did a video on hypertrichosis. So I understand that we don't have the animal proteins and enzymes to even express the phenotype of hypertrichosis. So what these people that you're talking about, who's their mother? What's the origin of the cells in their body? What's the totipotent stem cell? What's the embryological origin?
Again, because you're saying why do they have the same mutations? So-called black people, not even just in Africa, have sickle cell. Does sickle cell come from us? Does apoptosis come from us? No venereal diseases, no genetic diseases is supposed to be in our bodies. We've never experienced that in our bodies until the eukaryotic cell came about.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all are saying woolly hair. Woolly is connected to sheep.
I don't get that.
Like that's why the verbiage is gonna throw you off. You have to understand biology and genetics, gene expression,
These
genomes.
people will say I'm not a human, but I'm a Black American. I'm an African.
You're a human then.
Which falls under human. So you have animal DNA. But you're saying because you will have to tell me who you really are. And that's neuromelanin. That's condensed sunlight. So if your brother and sister across the seas has condensed sunlight as their DNA and so do you, and you're being affected by a different animal on this continent than him or her, what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the difference?
O blood types are connected to
Stop playing with me, y'all.
zooborn chimps and monkeys. Or excuse me, zooborn chimps and pigs. So if you're making fun of another brother or sister for eating a monkey, you have the blood type that is connected to zoo-born chimps. Do you naturally produce animal DNA? No, you don't. So that is a byproduct of you having antigens attached to the red blood cells. That's not hypertrichosis.
I was gonna
Yes, it
say
is,
that.
ma'am. Can you not read?
True.
Can you
That's
not
not-
read? Can you not read?
Okay,
Can you not read, ma'am?
Hold on for a second.
Truthfully for is
Yeah.
pseudo
Can you
as
not
well.
read?
Again,
Pseudo.
we don't have animal DNA.
Once again,
Werewolf
can you not
syndrome.
read?
Okay, take
Can
her
you
off,
not
please,
read?
because she's
Can
not
you read,
respectful.
please? No, see, no.
The thing is, when you say something, you have to let people respond. Werewolf syndrome is found all over the body and it is animal pattern hair, right? She doesn't have that on her face. She doesn't have a vestigial tail. She doesn't have congenital. I just did a video about this. There are
Exactly.
different types of hypertrichosis. There are 3 to 4 different types of hypertrichosis. She has generalized hypertrichosis, which means that it's connected to something that she's doing unnatural. It's not congenital. We would see it in her face if it was congenital.
Exactly. That which is natural would never change in nature unless something unnatural takes place to it. You don't see it in her face.
You don't see no other animal phenotype, animal hair, animal proteins. You don't see her with vestigial tails. You don't see her with subcutaneous horns. You don't see her with vampire syndrome. It wouldn't just be hair, my sister.
Yeah, that's
It's
why
gotta be the full
are vampires real?
phenotypical.
Okay.
Thank you, Starman. Thank
Starman,
you.
thank
Thanks for
you.
playing. All right. So you gotta understand, hypertrichosis is not just one thing.
Exactly. And again, we are being influenced by antigens all over the planet. That individual that you showed me, again, can have antigens from what? All different blood types, from cow blood types. When we have antigens, that affects us on a cellular level, and that's being expressed. That doesn't mean she has animal DNA that she's expressing. Again, it's not on her face. She's not growing horns. She's not, her hair, that wasn't animal, that wasn't even animal hair. That looked like her hair that was curled up in like coils.
Exactly.
It's
The
just,
obsession
she's
with
just,
Africans is weird as fuck.
that's weird.
Predatorial. It's you're seeking to prey on someone else for a weird ass reason that you can't even explain. I want somebody to explain it, starting with genetics and embryogenesis, how the so-called Africans are not us. Please, when there's only 2 cellular form types known to man.
Yeah,
Please.
you're trying to show me a so-called disease, which means her cells are not in harmony. You're trying to show me that instead of telling me what cells is different from you and her. What neuromelanin or pheomelanin differences is between you and so-called her. You're not telling me that because you don't even know your DNA. You're just showing me different after effects, different effects of the cause. And the cause is antigens.
You're saying that I'm emotional, but you wouldn't even let us respond.
Exactly.
We let you speak the entire time and didn't cut you off once, and you didn't answer our question. I could have cut you off after your first sentence and said, answer my question, but I was respectful and I let you get it out. Putting a picture from Google up is not the same thing as actually explaining the disorder and the different types and who they're connected to. Putting a picture up doesn't explain embryology and the difference in gene expression.
Exactly. And again, you have to know about DNA so you can know about the organism. If you don't know about the DNA, you're not going to know about the organism. This is why you're confused about your own brothers and sisters. Her hair that was growing on her body, it didn't look like fur. When you asked us the question, you said, what is that? What is that? When we tried to respond, you kept answering. You're the only one without emotional intelligence. You're the only one trying to get disrespectful, not knowing that that's your sister on the screen that you're trying to embarrass. Somebody who's dealing with antigens. That's sick. That's sickening. That's mental sickness that you have.
It's cognitive dissonance. They think because they type in
like,
shit
what the
on
fuck?
Google that they have it all figured out. Did you sit down with hypertrichosis for like a year? Because we have longer than that, like 3 or 4 years. And we've studied the condition and how it actually expresses in the phenotype from micro to macrocosm. And the thing is, what's the rest of you? Hypertrichosis is one of many mutations. Let's talk about all the so-called mutations because all of them would need to be connected to our people in order for it to be true. In order for what you're saying to be true, it wouldn't just be hypertrichosis. That's what I keep telling you. Like, I'm trying to put it on the screen too, like, so I can like show her instead of just like tell her, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
I actually don't like have it because of the storage. I'm trying to already put another video out. Here it is. I spoke too soon. Here it is. Here's one right here. Let me see if I can. Yeah.
Yo, one.
Hold on for a second.
Bro, what?
Yeah, but again, Trough, just go ahead and tell me what is the differences in your genomic structure than what you will call a so-called African. Don't show me how our bodies are not fully grown and now undergoing diseases because there's a parasite on the planet. That's easy. You can easily even say somebody who is in America with you is different from you because they're undergoing a disease that you're not going to. You may not be undergoing sickle cell, but they are. Are they different from you? Or is there an antigen now that is affecting the red blood cell? See, people are not thinking. This is why we're not getting back to our babies. You see what I'm saying? This is the same person who's trying to get their land back from animals, but saying DNA doesn't exist. You're trying to prove to me that these people have animal DNA, but you're saying they don't exist. That's mental illness, y'all.
Marlo, you've been listening for like a year.
That's mental illness.
You should be able to bring us the difference by now if you don't believe we're the same as these people.
Yeah.
You realize you've been.
Let me just add y'all up.
Can I just say one thing to her, please? You've been in this live this whole time hearing us break down the genetics, and you've been saying facts, truth, 100, facts, truth, 100. And you've been doing that for months, at least for like a year or two, up to a year or two, maybe not consecutive, but for over 2 years, you've been doing that. When are you going to debunk what we have to say? If you truly believe that we're not the same and this is the information we should be passing down to the next generation, stop being fucking lazy and get up here and actually fucking tell us. I get tired of y'all smiling in our fucking face, gifting us, liking what we have to say, but not pulling out the truth. Okay, don't look. Stop coming to the live then.
One
Why follow us then?
love,
You see what I'm
one
saying?
heart.
Just leave the live alone if we not pushing truth for real. Please debunk us. You should have been picked up a book by now, my sister. Y'all gotta stop that shit. Y'all not even studying shit. Indigo, why don't you come on the panel and tell us why we're not the same, babe? It's been a couple weeks. You see what I'm saying? Everybody that don't agree with us being the same, you should be able to debunk us by now. Exactly. If you really give a fuck about it.
All right. Let's come debunk us. Go ahead and explain to us how all so-called black people are different from each other biologically and genetically.
You speaking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do greetings like that. Y'all can greet everybody else, but y'all can't greet me.
Go ahead and answer our question. Explain to how Black Americans and
okay.
Africans aren't the same. Nope. Don't let her run. Answer our question.
I'm not gonna
please.
run, sweetheart. I don't know
the question,
you.
sis.
Excuse me.
Answer the question.
You can't.
Answer our question, please. When you come off mute, just answer the question.
We literally said just request up and explain this to us. Like there's no needs for a formal greeting. If you're trying to say I'm not your brother, so go ahead and explain to us genetically and biologically how I'm not your brother. Go ahead.
I'm not into science like that. I'm still learning, and for the simple fact that, yeah, I'm being honest with you. I'm not no scientist. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no scientist by far. What I know is surface level, like what I've been dealing with, just throughout life. But science, I'm not really into that much. However the case may be, as far who a liar, you could tell me, you could come off. You a moderator, there, hard. You could cut me at any time. You ain't got to go through the comments, my love.
Just answer the question, please.
We're just asking.
I'm just telling you, I'm not a scientist. I can't really explain that, but I can tell you as far as the behaviors between peoples, we not the same. I could say that. I could say that for sure. And I can go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that you're saying everybody who tries to say our people is different is because they say behaviors, but your behavior is determined. Your behavior and physical characteristics is determined by your red blood cells, which is consistently being tainted daily by parasites, by animal DNA.
Okay.
So-called black people all over the planet, we host over 2,000 parasites from animal DNA. We don't understand how that's affecting us. We don't know
No,
what.
that part I do understand how it does affect us. That I do understand because I have. That's what I'm saying. Like as far as science, I don't really know it, but I'm gifted. I can see things and I know things spiritually. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a different, it's the same, but I'm different. You dig what I'm saying? And from my standpoint, when I look at a mulatto, somebody that we would consider a mulatto, somebody who's mixed with a Caucasian, so-called Caucasian, and so-called black person, I could see the difference in them mentally. Their minds is a bit more warped. Like I said, I don't know science. I know what I see from my own eyes. You see what I'm saying on things, and I can just try to explain it like that. But I don't know science. That's why I be on these panels trying to listen. But when y'all sit up here and say, oh, we the same, this, that, and the third, I don't agree with that. And I should not fucking be shunned or blocked because a motherfucker don't agree with what y'all saying, though. Like, everybody ain't gonna agree with that shit.
You're the one who said what you said out of your mouth.
I did. And I meant that because all of us ain't the same, my love.
Hold on for a second, y'all. You just said you have no scientific explanation.
What's up, Marcus?
I got you. You just said you have no scientific explanation on how we are different from each other. And I just explained to you the reason why we behave differently on the planet is because there's different animal antigens in our red blood cells that is causing this. Do you really think so-called black people are supposed to be eating meat anywhere on the planet? Do you think so-called black people are supposed to be subjugating their children to an animal hybrid? You're telling me, oh, when I look at a brother and sister from another landmass, their mind is warped, but you're paying for water. You're eating cows. You're eating pigs. You're eating chicken. You live in a society with mixed animal hybrids. And you're trying to tell me that another brother and sister who's in the same poison in you as you, their mind is warped. Not the mind who is making y'all pay for water. Not the mind who's performing scientific experiment on you. Not that mind. If you're telling me you're spiritual and you're not tapped into the science, you should have been tapped in to who the fuck has been abusing us all over the planet. 8 million children are going missing all over the
That
planet.
wife is sleeping with monkeys.
Okay, you're a grown man though. Can you explain the genetics
Yeah,
and
explain the
behind
genetic
why we
differences.
shouldn't be procreating so-called with Africans, please?
Exactly.
I just want to see what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
Go ahead and come off mute. Who is this, Willie?
Oculocutaneous albinism is a mutation. You go up on Mayo Clinic and you can read it for yourself. Don't should nobody have to explain that to you. You know how to read and decipher and define what things.
All right, starting with the genetics and the embryological origin, not just Mayo Clinic, where you've actually assessed the entire genome and you understand the entire physical expression behind what's being expressed in the genetics, bro.
And again, you're saying that's a mutation.
That has nothing to do with monkey because it's just albinism. Like albinism.
If you're gonna tell me that this organism is mutates, you gotta tell me if this organism is a prokaryotic cell or not. Because prokaryotic cells only undergo evolution within their own genetic structure. You see what I'm saying? They don't mutate into different things. So if you're telling me that a so-called brother or sister in Africa is a mutated organism, you have to tell me their cellular origin. You have to tell me their embryological origin, because albinism, that's not explaining nothing. The so-called black woman is able to create 48 plus shades color of herself using electrons. And electrons, how they use electrons, they use the color force. They're able to make different shades of, she's able to make different shades of herself. Albinos still have afros. They can still grow afros. They still have thick, broad lips. They still have big noses that can pick up on electromagnetic signatures in the air. They can pick up on photons. They can still biosynthesize the sun with their integumentary system. How is that?
Y'all know damn well that all albinos don't even look the same. Why are you not studying the difference as to why they don't look the same? We look at people that are so-called considered albino, but they're neuromelanated, right? And we can see that there's a difference in their texture compared to Dravidian albinos, right? So you got to understand this is a conversation about biochemical composition. Y'all like starting at the big organism that's already full grown and and y'all don't want to talk about what makes up this organism.
Exactly.
That's why y'all don't get it, because you don't understand antigens and how the red blood cell is supposed to be naturally. So when something unnatural affects the cell, y'all are talking about behavior. Go study that and what actually affects behavior. So again, you mean to tell me as grown men or women that y'all just saw something and believed what you saw? You don't understand science, because the greatest illusion, number one, is separation and what you physically see. You have to make sense of what you're actually seeing, because what you're seeing is made up of atoms.
Exactly.
So atoms turn into molecules that turn into tissues that turn into cells. That's just 4 steps. But you want to start at the full-grown organism. Does that make sense? No.
Oh my gosh, there's huge differences between us, but I'm not a scientist. I don't really get into the science of things. I don't really know science. Then what the fuck are you telling
talking
me?
about?
Life is about science. Science is the natural world. You live in it. If you can't even tell me about the organisms in it, you can't even tell me about yourself, but you trying to tell me you genetically different from a different species, another species, but you're not telling me what's the difference.
I just don't
That doesn't
understand
make
why y'all want
sense.
reparations from monkeys, but you want to
Mentally ill.
be separate from someone that looks like you, but because they behave different, they're not you. But let me ask a white man for this money, though.
Let me ask him for my landmass,
you
though.
got to be sick. You got, matter of fact, you must have a different antigen than him. Both of y'all act sick as hell. What the hell? You mean to tell me the same nigga that went around the entire globe snatching our women and children, giving us the antigens, is the same nigga we asking for reparations for him and classification? You mean to tell me we chasing money? Look at all these people coming here saying, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm not religious. Don't the money say in God we trust? Oh, that's not your God, right? But you sure is chasing a motherfucking bag. Oh, I can see. You can't see the 8 million children going missing. All of our children going missing for the same fucking reason. Yeah, the same reason.
They can see so-called huge differences between us, but they don't see how our children are going missing. They don't see how our children are getting taught and medically
Native Americans have the highest.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They don't see how our children are getting medically and psychologically evaluated by inorganic species. You can see the clear differences between us, but the nigga with fur, animal DNA, pig skin, mucous membrane, he walking around freely. Oh, go back to Europe, go back to Asia. You giving these people a place on this planet. And you trying to like this is wild that our people thinking like this. And y'all think we somehow that we can just get all together and have a civilization. This not gonna happen. Not unless if you still hold the illusion of separation in your mind.
Bro, you're saying any other race, and we're talking about the globe. Cognitive dissonance. Did you hear me say it? See, y'all brainwashed, man. You gotta be. We just said our children across the globe. Look at you making it African and American when I'm talking about all of our children.
Children in Australia, children in South America are being snatched.
I said
y'all only care about children in. You don't even care about children. Yeah, but if you was to care about children, you will only care about children on that continent, and that's sick. That's sick. Why are you trying to compare the fact that children are going missing? Sick. If this is how Native or Indigenous American, count me out. Count me out, man. I just told you children are going, oh, well, our children go missing more. You sick, man. You sick. You got to be sick. Sick. Go ahead, Two Straight. Go ahead. And what was the reason why you were questioning up?
I've been listening for the past 30 minutes, and this life is quite interesting. So I went to do a quick search on the difference between the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell, and I found that bacteria is I think is a prokaryotic cell, and then human being a complex or multicellular organism is a eukaryotic cell. So I want to understand more about this. And this is according to science or according to the quick research that I did. So humans are eukaryotic cell, and then bacteria is a prokaryotic cell. So why did I find this out, and then what's the science behind it, and what's the difference between black people and humans? That's what I want to know. Okay, and please, if you want to explain, just use a layman's knowledge. Okay, don't go deep into.
You were here before, and I answered that question for you. You came here before on this live, and I answered that exact question for you. How we're different. You see what I'm saying? So why don't you, with what you've been learning, tell me how so-called black people are the same as you?
No. I'm black, actually.
Blood donor for somebody that's black, I give blood to somebody that's white, and vice versa.
One last time, Sabi. We do one at a time and no over talking. Yeah, I would just suggest Two Straight.
you should go either look at my other half's lives, and you should look at when you asked that question and what I said, because we have other people on the panel that want to speak and express on the evolution theory, and I already gave you my energy on that answer.
All right, go ahead. Who is this? It was Astar. Go ahead. Astar, go ahead.
Hey, sorry. So I just come onto the platform. I'm from the UK. I was just listening to what you was saying, so I'm like curious about.
What are your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory?
I think evolution is a must. Like that's definitely a must. Like we are evolving. Like I didn't even know how to use an iPhone like 20 years ago.
So are you saying that you obtaining an artificial device into your lifestyle is evolving you in the natural
not
universe?
really.
You saying that that phone is evolving you in the natural universe that doesn't create phones naturally in nature? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Astar. Astar, you're on mute.
Sorry. I think like for me, like coming from like let's say 20 years ago, like evolution is like phones, social media. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So your understanding of evolution is like technology, like how we
It
can.
is
Okay, so
definitely.
that I'm gonna come clean. That's not like what evolution is about when it comes to the theory itself.
Okay.
Respectfully, if that's the understanding that you
It's
have.
not it's not my understanding. It's what I'm seeing. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about like the life that we live in, like social media. Like I don't even need a bank card. I can just get my phone and go traveling on a bus or a train. It's not I'm not saying it's where I'm coming from, but it's definitely where the world is going to. Like,
Okay, got you. Go ahead, Indigo.
Yes, ma'am. So, first off, I want to apologize. You know, if I came off for being hostile to you and the host, I didn't mean to come off like that. I have been, you know, throughout the throughout the last couple of years, have watched your videos and a few times, but I wouldn't tell y'all this. I'm one of the most like anti those people. For real, for real. I do care about us. I care about us, but science is just not in my wheelhouse. You understand? I'm still learning certain things. My focus, because I be so busy with other things, science ain't it. But it's just an honor to even come up in here, you know what I'm saying, and learn something new. But what I can tell you is how y'all explaining it. That's why I was saying as far as certain behaviors, let's take Africans out of it. I mean, even because if it's between the African and the Caucasian, so-called, I'm definitely choosing African. I'm not going over there because the history, you understand, is where I'm coming from. When y'all talk about what y'all talk about and y'all saying about certain behaviors and, you know, why they act a certain way because they have certain, you know, you don't know what you're going to get. If you're going to get this or you're going to get that, certain this and that and the third because of, you know, they're not real, pretty much, right? My focus is to try my best to wean away from all the shit that they got going on anyway, because I know who they are. The history, I know what my people have told me, what other peoples have told me. I'm from the South. So at the end of the day, sister, when y'all saying what y'all saying, I hear you loud and clear. However the case may be, those things what they made of has made them behave a certain way. And we can see that. We've seen it. That shit is documented. So that's all I'm saying. You did. Science ain't in my wheelhouse, dear. But other things are. And if I could be of some service, hey, I'm here. Thank you.
Abundance for that. Mother of life is just that again. We need to understand science because science is going to help you structure what you're seeing. Because if you don't have science and you're just seeing life, you're going to see lies as truth and truth as lies. That's how we got here. Science is just atoms, molecules, crystals, cells, tissues, organs, organisms, and organ systems. That's what it is. That's all science is talking about. That's all information is. All the words that they're using in literature to explain science, that's all they're talking about. You literally have that within you. When you give birth to a child, they're undergoing biology right in front of your face, chemistry right in front of your face. Their anatomy is changing right in front of your face. So why wouldn't that be something that we want to know? When we are literally, science comes from us. It's literally our knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that you're saying that you would pick the so-called, but the thing is, what we're saying as a community, a group of our people is saying that they're not the same as the same group of another people that have the same DNA. So if we're gonna say that we are different people, how we have to explain that genetically and biologically, because that's what differentiates species. If you
Yes, sir.
can't so if you can't explain the elemental atoms, the genetic structure that makes up your DNA that differentiates from my genetic structure and elemental atoms that make up my DNA, there should be no separation there. There should be
Well,
no
I
there
did.
should be no
I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. That's where kind of, you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I I can't speak on something I don't know. You dig what I mean? Like I can't because I sound like a fool, and I'm in the business of doing that. I can only speak on what I know, and for the simple fact that you said that, I living this life, you know, late 30, 40 years, early 40 years that I've been here. All I can speak of is what I've experienced, what my people has experienced through whatever the hell. Because I've always felt like them, I call them hunkies. Y'all call them something else, that's y'all lingo. They wired different. I always felt like they was not human because of the fact that the way they have treated our people. We haven't done anything to them for them to treat us this way. So I felt like it was something wrong with them. They're not human. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're not son children at all because them bitches can't even. They still use us. They use us for everything. But that's listen. That's I'm just saying, sir. I just believe different because of the fact that certain behaviors show certain, ways in which people's act and how I feel that their DNA or their genetics is wired because of their behaviors. I can't tell you what it is because like I say, I don't know the ins and outs of that. That's why I be listening.
See how you just said you're not gonna speak on something that you don't know about.
Yes, sir.
You don't know the genetic differences from your brothers and sisters. I just said you were gonna see lies as truth and truth as lies. But yet you've been speaking up just for these past 2 days and today saying that you're different from somebody else and you don't even know how. So you're speaking on something you don't know.
Scientifically, no, I don't know.
And yes, and
I can't
scientific.
speak how y'all language, you know what I'm saying? I can't speak scientific
People
language
just
because I
saying
don't
you've
know
been
it.
listening for a minute, and this is just excuses. Like I hear you, but you just throwing out excuse after excuse after
No, it
excuse.
ain't no excuse because I'm
Like the
busy,
thing
honey.
is this: you told
I
me
got
you
a
all been
business and I
listening.
got
Y'all
childrens.
got you.
One at a
You
time,
said that you've
please.
been listening to us for a long time.
No, I didn't say a long time. I said I've been listening to you for a little while. I done called a couple of you know what I'm saying? But that ain't really been my forte, sister. I done said that already.
Mm.
And it ain't no fucking excuse. This is my real life. I got a business, I got childrens.
All
Yeah,
right,
Like,
I
but
got you.
again, we
you know
can't.
what I'm saying? My wheelhouse is more of the physical, spiritual standpoint to a degree and somewhat science, but I can't tell you, science or lingo and what it means and certain things. That's why when I listen to you, I know a part of my being feels certain parts of the truth.
But
That's all I can tell you. That ain't no
even when you
motherfucking excuse shit. That's real for me.
I got
That's an
you, but
excuse to not go deeper. Okay, that's what I'm
I,
saying.
I am going as
I
deep as I
got you
fucking
though.
can at this point,
I,
sister.
all
hey,
right.
we don't gotta talk to each
Yeah,
other
I'm
like
not
that,
trying
y'all.
to be like
I'm just
that.
saying.
Look, I'm finna just, cause like I'm just trying to
It's
get
all good. I'm gone.
I'm just trying to say, if you have been listening to the lives, whether it's been 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 days, 3 days, that is still, if you can sit in a 6 hour live, you can sit down with the information for 6 hours too. If you're on the app, you can also be studying. So I really think that's an excuse for us to not go deeper. Now, besides you, Marlo, you've been here for years, man. You really don't have an excuse. You was here before I even met Zell. That was 3.5 years ago. So like I said, you're telling her you never stop learning. You can't even explain to us your DNA. I'm gonna come clean. I watch you say shit that's not true all the time in the comments, but again, you my sister, you my reflection. Y'all not learning though. Y'all not. Period. I'd rather y'all just say, hey, I could go deeper than to tell someone else never stop learning. You have not learned and cannot explain to me your embryological origin and your DNA. That's my problem. Like, if we're gonna really come together and build, then we gotta like have the information that allows us to build. We're not supposed to separate our mother like this. Africa versus America. If we were studying the tectonic plates, if we were studying Earth's womb, you know that this is all one landmass. You'd know that of the three boundaries, they were never separate, whether convergent, divergent, or the one where the plates slide against each other and create friction. A star. Every time you come off mute, there's a little bit feedback. So go ahead. I'm trying to get to the next guest actually. Sabai, go ahead and tell us why you requested up.
Mm,
Yeah, basically just wanted to give like my viewpoint on the prompt.
go ahead and expound on that.
Y'all want to get into it?
Yeah, go ahead and tell us.
All right. No, first I'm gonna start off by saying this. I'm not gonna get into my beliefs. I just want to keep it short and simple. Sometimes I get off track. If I start doing that, y'all just let me know. So I feel like as humans, it's in our human nature to where we want to actually know something for a fact. We have to come up with an answer for something. We reach a point in our lives where we start asking ourselves like certain types of questions that leads us down rabbit holes, such as how do we come to be? Where do we even come from? That's kind of like this question surrounding around evolution, right? So we all ask ourselves those questions. Maybe we question what we follow growing up, our religion, our spirituality is what we practice, whatever the case may be. Right now we're talking about evolution. This is like one of the most heavily debated topics in the scientific community and between people, of course, on this live right here, right? So in my eyes, right, the oldest form of the land is actually in Canada. It's called the Canadian Shield. The actual rock that it is an igneous rock, and it's called a costogenesis. Igneous rock is land created by volcanoes, so to say. So, yeah. So the first step in the scientific method is observation. Right after that, it's questions, right? So we can observe that the first landmass is in Canada, which makes North America the oldest land across the world, period. During the time that this land was formed, it was during the Hadean Eon. The Hadean Eon. You could look up what the Earth looked like at that time. Very much a lot of lands being formed around the same period. That's how Acostogenesis was formed. Also, these volcanoes were underwater at some point. At the highest points in the world, there's evidence of sea life being there, I live down south, so I can't just go to the bayou and just dig up artifacts. It doesn't work like that down here like that. Maybe if you live in Arkansas, like going up towards like the woodlands and stuff, if you go to a creek, maybe if you get some scuba gear, you got like a clear stream or something, maybe you could do a dive. Maybe you'll find some like shark teeth. There's definitely evidence of stuff that was there millions of years ago that's no longer there. You could even look this up on TikTok. So how I'm tying this into like my viewpoint on evolution, right? So if we can
Yeah.
observe that all land masses has always been underwater, the first land's always been underwater, then somewhere along the line during Earth's history, we had to come to being. This ties into what I was saying about being comfortable with the unknown. So I'm observing that we had to come to be at some point in Earth's history for us to even be here. Me with the unknown part is that I don't know how we actually came to be, what created us, if anything created us. I just know that I'm here, and I observe that we wasn't always here on Earth. You know, I feel like evolution is like the biggest question, and I feel like people try to cling to what's more plausible, what makes more sense to them from the research that they gathered or from indoctrination in school. Everybody would like try to make an answer, follow, and come to know what's more plausible to them. But me personally, I feel like just people is not really comfortable with the unknown, you know?
Okay,
Is that
so um you don't know how we got here and came from, and you just came here to tell me about the formation of land masses. So again, the earth is an immortal entity. She's been producing land masses on her for eons and eons and eons and eons of years. They don't know really how old the earth is, because everything that comes from the surface of the earth comes from the inner part of the earth. And the inner part of the earth has hydrogen and helium atoms in it. And these atoms are composed of cosmic particles that are immortal. So everything from Earth is connected with each other. There is no oldest part. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, oh, my knees is older than my heart, or my leg is. Oh, that's false way of thinking. That's a mechanistic theory. You see what I'm saying? That's a mechanistic theory that still goes with evolution theory, because we've never went from haploids to diploids as well. So-called black people, our cells are immortal. We don't originate from a landmass. We originate from the cosmos herself. We are composed of invisible matter, dark matter energy, and every planet in this universe, every star in this universe, every galaxy in this universe has the same dark matter energy within them, which is stardust granules. You see what I'm saying? Which is hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. So how we came about is the same way that life is reproducing right now. So when you see the lion species reproducing, when you see ginkgo trees, they've been doing that same function for eons and eons of years. You see what I'm saying? They can't really tell you how old things are on the planet. Time is fictitious. You see what I'm saying? So there's no real um motherland when we're on Mother Earth. You're not gonna separate your organs and say my heart works by itself. You're not gonna say North America works by herself or something like that, or she was first. That doesn't make sense. All of the continents are the same. So that's what people have to understand, is that you live in a universe. You don't live in a country. You don't live in a region. You see what I'm saying? You live in
can I ask you a
forests. You
question?
live in jungles. And these forests or jungles are all connected throughout the entire planet through a neurochemical bioelectric network. So the trees in Africa and the trees in America and the trees in Australia all consistently communicating with with each other. The honeybees in Africa and the honeybees in America and the honeybees in Australia, whatever, are consistently communicating with each other because they had the same morphology, which means that they have the same morphogenetic field, which means that to come into existence, they had to vibrate at 432 hertz to create morphic resonance to get information and memory and shape and form how to form from past living systems. This is how so-called black people come into being. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody else outside of us is a result of genetic splicing, genetic engineering. They got here on this planet from introgression of multiple different unnatural fruits, unnatural vegetables, unnatural plants, unnatural fungi to make these species. So when you're saying you don't know, I would just suggest you should go research on the things that I've said. But I just wanted to say that as well for everybody else that's on the live. If like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I just want to like point out something that you said, right? You
Right,
said universe, right?
right.
If you say it slow, universe. The universe is centered around you, the ideologies, the lenses that you view through and you project on a world. That's how you're going to speak to people. Whenever you speak to people, you have to understand that we all share this mother earth, and the earth that we all share, aside from the lenses that we view upon it, is void of any ideologies, belief systems, or knowings. It just is. That's why whenever I said some people just cling on to what's more plausible, what makes sense to them, instead of being comfortable with the unknown, because in my eyes, my opinion and my knowings is that I know nobody truly knows where we come from. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
But what I
you
do
Yeah.
know
literally
for a
that's a
fact is that
belief.
we're all made of.
That's a
You
belief.
remember how I have to cut you off now. Because remember when you just said that what I know is came from me. You just say you know we all don't know where we came from. That makes no sense. That's what you know. Don't try to put that on me and say I don't know where I came from when I've been doing extensive research of the universe. Universe means uni means one and verse means song. One song. This is why they're coming out with the string theory or the super string theory. You see what I'm saying? All particles in the universe all are micromanaged by quantum fields of magnetism that is the universe. She is the electromagnetic web that holds stars, galaxies, planets in shape. This is a fact. The reason why you're saying it's not a fact is because again you're not consistently out in nature viewing nature and seeing how it's reciprocal with
The rest of
the
nature,
rest of nature,
the interconnectedness and how
the inner
everything is
oneness.
one. You have to
So
study atoms to understand that atoms make up everything. That is the interconnectedness. You would have to study quantum science, and it checks out all the time, whether you're observing the particle or not. Each particle that is at this end of the universe is directly connected to another atom at the opposite end of the universe. When you go through a black hole, that's just like entering another universe, another galaxy. It consciousness just continues to keep expanding because everything is what it is because of the morphology, the morphic resonance that is bringing things into existence through biogenesis. Everything else that is not a part of biogenesis is according to spontaneous generation. So we can observe that there are things on this planet that are literally man-made because their origin, their genomics goes back to introgression. So I think that when you're saying like that people cling on to what is plausible, quantum mechanics isn't necessarily plausible according to people that have gotten a public education because they're not teaching quantum science. What you think is plausible is based off of your environment and how your reality is being shaped. That's based off of knowledge of self. That's based off of your character and wanting to be curious and know more. Right? I don't think that what you're saying actually coincides to what we're discussing about the evolution theory though, especially when you're coming in here talking about land masses, and this is a conversation that goes back to cells, which leads us back to atoms.
so I'm gonna use this for example, right? More so of an analogy.
Hold on, can we get to the next guest and let them introduce their point of view and then we'll get right back to you?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay, gratitude. Go ahead, Google Future. Google Future, you're on mute. Go ahead. All right, you'll have to request back up. Go ahead, Eric Mitchell. You're on mute.
I am. I
All
am.
right, go ahead.
What would you like?
The boys in the submarine.
Okay, hold on for a second. One at a time, y'all. Stop coming off of mute.
Okay, I'm
All
ready.
right. Okay,
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay,
Okay, 1 second.
1 second. We're gonna get you right after Eric. Go ahead, Eric, and tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
I would like my friend to tell me where we should go.
Thanks for playing.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Greg. Google Future.
Google Future. Tell us your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
Google Future. Come on, man.
You were ready, man. Come on, man. Just unmute yourself. That's it. One step. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, an isolated community of black people sinned against itself. The result was the creation of white people. See, separating the lighter from the darker to make whiter by way of deceit, murder under the fear of death, born into the nature of the result. Because they said, why is the sister a while back said, what she said, why are they so evil? Why are they so aggressive? Where did this genetic trait come from? Because for everything about us, there's a genetic equation. So the sister was begging for, she put a point across pretty good. See, even though she didn't know the answer, she knew the problem. So, and I was agreement to the last statement. But when I hear that nobody knows, that hurts. Because the truth is out there. The farmers producing livestock always do it. Produce separate the lighter from the darker to make whiter, to make the meat more tender. But that's not the thing that made them evil. It's the manner in which it was done. Because every creature obeys, every creature lives according to the manner created. They were created different. But what is that difference? The result of deceit, murder under the fear of death, phased out mercy as an inconvenience to living on the island of Patmos, located in the Argon Sea over 6,000 years ago. So there, white people came from black people, and there was affected by excessive surface level uranium deposits in the southwest corner of Persia, because we all used to have straight black hair, but these Persians was genetically altered by excessive surface level uranium deposits. When they say the gem was made from fire, but also made from black people. So how do you connect the two? Can both be right in the same hand? Because they made from fire. That's uranium is known to produce the hottest heat known in making of atomic bombs or nuclear power. See, but it also has it's also known for its speciating and mutagenic effect on human mammalian DNA. So there's a lot of three things that made them different than us. But the emotional conduct is a sociogenetic equation about everything different about us, each and every one of us.
Okay.
Ethnically and individually.
Appreciate that, my brother. You were saying earlier that they separated darker to lighter, or darker and lighter.
They separated the lighter from the darker to make whiter.
Yeah,
because if black can make brown, brown can make a lighter color, red.
But a Dravidian and a white man and an Asian man, they have animal DNA, and they also have animal proteins, animal amino acids, animal enzymes. So-called black people don't have none of those things.
That's true.
So where do we get the genetic information?
That's true.
To produce these people.
That's true. What's the name of it? The Neanderthal. What's the called it? Neanderthal. The Neanderthal. He's so old. You know he's not Caucasian because he's too old to be a Caucasian. They only been around 6,000 years. So the Neanderthal is a black man that's been up there so long, he lost his metal.
Okay.
See, and so he's a brother, but he's
That's
been up
not.
since, huh?
That's
The
not a brother.
Neanderthal.
A
The
Neanderthal.
Neanderthal. He's too old to be a Caucasian.
Again, there's Dravidians that can be dark, that look darker than you, but they have animal DNA because they have vitrosynthetic eumelanin, and their hair grows down towards the ground, and they're not able to utilize and absorb the solar radiation for their own homeostasis state for their
Well,
body. So that's why I'm asking you, can you go ahead and explain to me how they use so-called black people, or how did black people through reproduction create white man and Asian man and an Arab man when we don't have the proteins and enzymes and amino acids to reproduce their species?
How do
well,
you make sense of
that
Cheddar
later came
Man?
about. That later came about after.
We do one at a time, y'all. Go ahead, Google Future. Sab, for somebody who's saying they don't know how we came about, you have a lot of instances of where you keep cutting off people when we're talking about evolution. You see what I'm saying? And yes, we are going to get back to the mother of life. Go ahead, Google, and land your plane so we can do that. Just unmute your button real quick. Google, yo. We can, all we can do is just send him an invite so he can just pop on the screen. We can't really unmute him.
Yeah.
So when he finds the unmute button, go ahead, Mother of Life, and go ahead and express what you've been hearing. Anything else that you wanted to add about the evolution theory on cells? Go ahead. Educator, Mother of Life.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
The Neanderthal was too old to be a Caucasian, but the Caucasians got Neanderthal genes after. See, because after we made the white man, they got these Neanderthal genes. See, and
So how do we
we
make
didn't have
them?
monkeys. The Neanderthal's not a monkey, but the monkeys came from the white man. See, but the white man got Neanderthal genes, though the Neanderthal is older. And he and the black the black man, man, it's not a man, he's older man. We predate Adam. I know all that. We made the dirt from our own DNA. See, and heaven, the high heaven is our oldest child. Yeah, so the Holy Quran is it's right and exact. We create the universe and the heavens and earth.
Okay, you said that the Neanderthals are old and ancient, but they're only 300,000 years old.
Yeah,
Genetics.
that's older than the white man.
Genetically, we're not older than them.
The Neanderthal is older than the so-called white man.
I let you speak, my brother, so I just hope you have the same respect with me, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that the Neanderthal is older than the white man, but before this, I'm telling you that this 300,000-year-old organism is genetically spliced. You see what I'm saying? We didn't, so-called black people didn't genetically splice this organism. You see what I'm saying? We didn't do that. So that's why I was saying, when you're
We
saying
did
about
everything. Allah created God, and from God made everything else. We are indeed the Father.
I asked you for respect, and you said out your mouth as a man to me that, yeah, I'm going to give you that respect. And then you spoke over me. I can't fuck with that. You see what I'm saying? Respectfully, I can't fuck with that. Because again, Neanderthal has introgressed genes. They share DNA with dogs. They share DNA with monkeys. Yes, they do. They share DNA with cats. They share DNA with spliced organisms. So-called white people, Asian people, Arab people, they have about 20% to 40% of Neanderthal DNA within them because, again, to get to the human that they have today, they had to undergo different splicing trials to get this finalized human that they have today. So the monkey, which is the chimpanzee and babooness, that is a spliced organism. So when they show you that chart from going up from a monkey all the way to that white man or Asian man, they're just showing you the splicing different eras that they had to get to that man. That's what happened. So
You're saying respect the elders when he asked him for respect and you saw him disrespect him. You're talking about respect, but you cut us off the whole time you were up here. Y'all, like, let's just, like,
you see what I'm
I'm
saying?
trying to, like, if y'all don't like the way we run the lives, start your own. That's the first thing, really. And then however you run your live is going to be, people are going to flock to that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to, you see what I'm saying? But in here, we let each other speak and get it out, right? We let each other speak and get it out. We ask simple questions that a lot of people just don't answer. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, if I'm judgmental, whatever, y'all gonna have a lot to say. But look, when it comes to pushing division, know how to articulate whatever you're being divisive over, or don't push division. That's the thing. We're deflecting from the fact that our people in here have been in here for a long time and are still spreading division.
Yeah,
That's an elder. He should know himself. We're only here because of him. We're only here because of our ancestors, right? They passed us respect that they don't even give us.
Yeah, so that's why, like, I just asked him, can you give me the same respect? Because he already had cut me off, and that's a brother. So okay. You see what I'm saying? Because men, really, you only have one chance with me. I don't play that shit. You see what I'm saying? So again, I let him have that disrespectful moment to cut me off in the middle of my explanation. You see what I'm saying? When he explained his explanation, even though it was false, I let him speak. I let him talk. When it was my turn to speak, he kept cutting me off, and I was like, okay, yo, we're gonna have that respect, right? As men, right? He said yes, and he still did it. He didn't have no emotional intelligence. So honestly, when we come into to this reality, all of us should know who we are. Our baby should be coming out of the womb telepathically, thinking and moving and already knowing their own genetic makeup. You don't need to tell a lion cub how to become a lion. They're going to learn who they are. They're going to become who they are because they're in that genetic structure and capability to do that. So that's why it's like I don't want to give nobody excuses when there's children going missing. I don't give a fuck. Why the fuck do you not know about your DNA? Why the fuck do you still think these people are you and we created them when there's no genetic explanation about that? If you can't explain that, why the fuck would you tell me that? Why would you tell me that? That means you don't care about the information that goes in my mind. You're just trying to sound good. So I can't. It's just that simple, y'all. Like I asked that brother a simple question and he couldn't answer it. That's as simple as that.
We ask all of y'all questions that y'all can't answer, whether it's our people or them. We ask y'all, how are we not the same? We still haven't got an answer. We ask these people, how are we the same? We still haven't gotten an answer. So nobody can answer basic questions, but again, people will say that we're the same and can't explain it, or say that we're not the same and can't explain it. Next time y'all see us, have a fact. Have 3 genetic facts. That's how we build. You see what I'm saying? If you really believe this, and if you know it to be true, and you can feel it in your chakras, and you can feel, then the mother is gonna present you some information if it's true. All you would have to do is align with that energy, and it would manifest in your reality.
Well, what do you think is true?
Hold on for a second.
Yeah, we're gonna get to you. Go ahead, a pile of rocks, and go ahead and share your thoughts and visions. You see what I'm saying on the evolution theory.
How are you guys?
Like, you're the one tagging me, sis. I've been trying to move on, man. Like, it's whatever. I'm talking to all of y'all that's spreading the division. You're not the only one.
Yeah, like if y'all saying y'all got smoke, just come up with the smoke intellectually with science. Don't tell us that y'all don't believe in science, but love to hear how we're scientifically different from these people, which gives you your freedom back on the planet. So that's all I'm saying. So go ahead, a pile of rocks. Go ahead and tell us what's your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory, please?
Thank you. And may I ask a couple clarifying questions first?
Well,
just so I
No.
understand, because I'm having a little trouble placing where like the heart of this live is, and I want to make sure I'm not misrepresenting you guys when I say what I say.
well,
No.
the evolution theory on the screen it says the evolution, the biggest lie ever told.
So
That is my premise. It's the biggest lie ever told on this planet.
So are you saying evolution across all organisms?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I guess the easiest retort to that one we can actually see are genetic lines in bacteria that we've actually seen change since we've started breeding them. If you want to start there, yeah, you can. I'm curious how you think that we have not observed what we have.
How about we start with prokaryotes and eukaryotes? How did a prokaryote change into a eukaryote for even evolution to kickstart off?
Well, the field of abiogenesis is, working on that. It's not something that is claimed to be known at this point. It's not like you're disproving anything because no one is claiming that we have the exact answer. Systems chemistry is working on the science behind self-replicating chains of proteins and polymers and all that. But they're not claiming. Go ahead.
They're working on vitrosynthetic melanins. Yes, because again, you're telling me that they don't have an answer, and that's true. There is no answer for how prokaryotes change into eukaryotes. No evolutionary biologists, no cell biologists can answer that question because it never happened. So us saying that never happened, that shows that the evolution theory and everything that y'all are trying to say and classify as evolution is false, which means that we're not all one human race, which means that we're not the same species, which means that we have two different phenotypes, which means that we have two different cellular types. We have two different melanin DNA classifications that we fall under. And when I say we, I mean what your society classifies as so-called black people, what y'all call black people, we have neuromelanin. We don't have animal DNA. We have condensed sunlight that coats our cells, that is our DNA, which is why you can't cut into our cells. But y'all have animal DNA. Y'all have that, and y'all have multiple animal DNA from multiple cells, from multiple different cells. So
To
how?
speak on a point you said earlier.
Yeah. So can you go ahead and just explain to me how we went from prokaryotes to eukaryotes?
Well, I wanted to say that that's not really a fair scientific claim that because we don't know now means no one will ever know. There's lots of things that we know now that we didn't know 20 years ago that are now established scientific fact. So saying we didn't know or we don't currently know and saying, therefore, black people and white people are two different organisms, I don't really think is a fair statement.
No. What I'm saying is the scientists don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Currently.
They're just saying that
Currently, yeah.
prokaryotes and eukaryotes exist. But there's another field of biology called synthetic biology where they use CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing tools and where they also perform introgressions and hybridization. So this can only happen to a cell that is a eukaryotic cell. This can only happen to a cell that has more than one genetic material within that cell. So how is it that humans share DNA with multiple different organisms that cannot naturally reproduce in nature, but they're trying to say that they're a part of natural life and came about through evolution, but they have introgressed genes and lab-made melanins, which means that you were created in a lab?
First, I want to say I think you have your definition of prokaryotic and eukaryotic a little bit mixed up.
So you can't answer the question because you think I got it mixed up? Okay, go ahead and tell me the differences between the two cell types.
Well, prokaryotic cells don't have organelles. It's not that eukaryotic cells have multiple types. I don't want to misrepresent. You said that they have multiple types of animals in them, or can you rephrase or re-say what you said?
Yeah, eukaryotic cell, like so-called black people, we're prokaryotic cells because we don't have a nucleus, we don't have a membrane, we don't have organelles, we don't have centrols, we don't have histones, we don't have no animal DNA or extra animal material to make up our cell. You see what I'm saying? All of my cells, my heart cells, my liver cells, my neurons all come from the same embryological origin. But for eukaryotic cells, y'all have centrals, y'all have mitochondria, organelles, which are miniature organs. Organelles are miniature organs at a cellular level. Internal membranes or membranes, those are miniature brains that have to think for the cell. You see what I'm saying? And these miniature brains, these internal membranes and organelles don't come from just one species. They come from a multifaceted of species, and these multifaceted of species is what? Unnatural, introgress, hybridized, mixed animal organisms.
Mhm. So you're claiming that black people do not have any of the constituent parts of a eukaryotic cell? You just said that you don't have mitochondria, you don't have ribosomes, you don't have any of the. Is that the claim, if I'm following?
Yeah, we don't have these things, but can you go ahead and tell me how we went from a prokaryote to eukaryote?
It's not, no, and no one claims it is.
Okay,
I'm not arguing that. It's like saying.
So where did eukaryotic cell come from?
As far as we know, cells started as really simple RNA-based replicating systems, and through time and what we believe to be evolution, they became more and more complicated as the environment around them shaped them.
So the evolution theory you just said wasn't real, but then you try to explain a cell's existence through evolution, which we just agreed that wasn't real. So is the eukaryotic, did the eukaryotic cell come here through natural evolution? No, they didn't. They didn't come here through biogenesis.
How can you claim that? How do you know that for a fact?
Because they don't come from prokaryotes.
How do you know?
Because again, we don't see prokaryotes engulfing prokaryotes in nature, and no scientist, like we've both agreed to, is saying these things. So how do you know that that so-called black people are human? How do you know that so-called black people got animal DNA? How do you know that?
I'm thinking you're throwing a lot at me, so just forgive me if I'm. I guess I'm a little stuck on your claim that if I look at a black person's cell, if I look at one of your skin cells, I'm not going to see the constituent parts of a cell. Do you have proof of that? Are you saying if I pull up a photo of an electron microscope photo of a black person's cell and a white person's cell, that they're going to look completely different?
I asked you a question and you're answering me a question with a question. How about you answer the questions I've answered you? You said you can't answer it. So why do we need to keep continuing this conversation on a topic you don't understand?
Well, you're making baseless claims.
You can't tell me how the prokaryotes change into eukaryotes. You can't explain. Yeah, so that means you can't explain the eukaryotic existence. So we're not the same species. Because prokaryotes never went into eukaryotes. We don't have a common ancestor then. You have Hox genes, homeobox genes, animal DNA. So-called black people do not have that because, again, we are connected to the sun and stars, and our DNA coats our cells. You can't cut into our cells and genetically splice into the cell. You cannot do that.
Can you what can I look up about this that has actual research, not just hearsay?
Why Darkness Matters, written by 4BOK neuroscientists. Anything that is written by Dr. Richard King, like Melanin the Key to Freedom, any of Dr. Ann-C. Brown's work as well, and Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum and Dr. T. Owens Moore, they're all explaining the difference in embryological origins between people.
Okay. I got Why Darkness Matters. I'm not going to lie, I'll start with one at a time. I think, I'm not trying to come at this as offensive or anything. There's some claims which, as someone who's never heard them, are shocking. So, and I'm not one to just claim because you claim XYZ that, oh, now I believe this. I'm always open to hearing other stuff, but claiming that black people don't have organelles in their cells, I think is pretty preposterous. And I don't know if you could find any actual research to substantiate that.
Well, then why did John Biggerstaff, which is a cell biologist, say you can't cut into so-called black people's cells? And he also said that people with pheomelanin or vitrosynthetic pheomelanin don't even have a place on this planet. They don't even know why y'all are in existence. So
You
that's
said John
yeah.
Biggerstaff?
Yeah, cell biologist John Biggerstaff said in an interview that you can't cut into our cells. It's
Yep.
coded in neuromelanin. And every time you try to cut into our cells with UV light, it absorbs the entire light spectrum that's trying to cut it entirely and closes right back up and utilize that energy to power up enzymic reactions for protein synthesis.
And that's actually on my page. It's not just him. It's also a YT female scientist that's saying the same thing. And there's also a list of other doctors by me and a few other of our mutuals that also break down the anatomical and the physiological differences between us and everyone else. I'd also throw out Dr. Amos Wilson, who there's a very famous study that he ran in the 50s breaking down the psychological differences in development between our children and everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that forms uh, in in embryology to bridge the gap between fetal development is the brain. So Why Darkness Matters is a book about the brain and the construction of it. So there's plenty of studies. Every single claim that they throw out is cited and sourced right after the sentence.
So we gave you all our sources. So there's no way now you can say that we're wrong until you do the full extensive research on what we said. So thank you for your time. Moving
I have
forward.
one more question, if you don't mind.
There's no more questions. I would just
No,
say
I want something to look at.
no.
Just gave
We
you-
gave you something to look up. We're not really here to continue. After I tell you the differences between us, you need to now move with your life, and I need to move on with my life. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do what the sun is doing, and that's separating us on this planet. So I need to separate us on this planet with my intellect, which is directly powered up by sunlight. So we are not the same species. You keep trying to ask me a question, but then tell me I'm wrong, or tell me that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. Well, how about you go study what we did say? So maybe when we have a conversation later on in the future, you can stay in the topic and the conversation. So if you can't do that, I have to move on to the next guest. Thank you. Go ahead, most blessed, and go ahead and share your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
I just typed them.
All right. Well, for a while, like I didn't really believe in evolution. You know, like I'm Mexican American, and like the whole out of Asia theory. You know, like I didn't believe it. You know, I thought I didn't believe that in that, and I just thought we had just got here or something. You know, like the gods or something, and but now that I'm older, you know,
I ain't gonna lie, you're not saying shit about the evolution theory, nigga. I'm really trying to understand what you came up to say. Like, you're not telling me about nothing about the prompt. Nothing. Y'all just want to come up here and ask us questions and shit, but then tell us I'm wrong. So what you asking me? You see what I'm saying?
If evolution is guided, that means that that is the same thing as artificial selection.
Shut the fuck up and open a fucking book, you dumb.
Y'all can just come up and debunk us, but y'all have to go through all that name calling and erratic and animal expression just to tell me that I'm wrong. Just tell me that I'm wrong and explain it instead of cussing me out and trying to call names. That shows like intellect. That shows intelligence quotient. That shows IQ. That shows your psychological state, which is directly connected to your genetics.
For real. That's the thing. Like the sun, as it's amplifying in its solar frequency and sending it to the planet, is causing a global heat crisis for your people. You see what I'm saying? The photonic light codes that's coming down to the planet, it's ionizing radiation. You see what I'm saying? Excited electrons are coming down to the planet, which hold the most energy and photonic energy to be produced. And that's having an effect on every biological life form on this planet, and even non-life forms like parasites and viruses, like these eukaryotic individuals. And y'all are disintegrating and deteriorating under the sun. That's what's happening. This is why our people need to understand the truth. When you're going back to nature, no titles is going to exist. The grocery stores is not going to exist. The economic system, that's not going to exist. The hospitals, the medical system, that's not going to exist. See what I'm saying? These fake identities, land masses, regions, that's not going to exist. You're going to be naked of the world. You're going to be completely in nature. And without no languages, nothing like that. You're going to have to start back as an infant in nature and learn how to differentiate species, what species are, what you need to help you throughout your life, what you need to build shelter, irrigation system, plumbing system for wounds. You're going to learn these things. You see what I'm saying? There is not going to be time to say, "Oh, you're African," or you're from here, or you're from... That shit is done. Are you able to walk under the same sun as prokaryotic cells? Are you? That's all that matters. And if you're not able to walk under the sun, then you're not natural to the planet. People are trying to say brothers and sisters around the planet are not natural, but somehow they can take the sun. Somehow the sun is saying they're natural, but you, that's poison, is saying they're not. That makes no sense to me. The sun is saying they're natural, but you, that's poison and has filled with antigens, is saying they're not. I have to watch your mind now. I have to watch you differently now. You see what I'm saying? That people are not getting this. And it's going to be very hard for people to adjust back to natural, universal life. No species in nature cares about titles. No species in nature cares about money. No species in nature care about these systems that we're living under. But somehow they're making it to the next sunrise because they got each other. Look at us, so-called black people. Look how we fight all over the planet. When this system shut down, do you think we got ourselves? Do you think we got each other? Do you think we got each other's backs? Or are people still holding animosity, jealousy, and envy from each other from what the middleman, the eukaryotic cell, placed on us?
Exactly. None of us can be trusted right now. It's not even about the so-called African or nothing. None of us can be trusted. You can't even... The whole indigenous American, y'all can't even trust each other, man. It's so-called African brothers and sisters, they can't trust each other.
Exactly.
I can't even trust my own family, and they raised me. Like, what do you mean? So a lot of the things that y'all are saying, it is Stockholm syndrome and cognitive dissonance. It really is. It really is. Like, I don't know how we can still fight to be a part of something with these people, but then shun our own. I'll never be able to understand it.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? As long as you think like these people, no matter where you are on the planet, after this system shut down, you're gonna try to run this same system on your own people. Because you don't know what's natural. Because you haven't been studying science. Oh, science not for me. But paying for water is. Going to work for these people is. Asking for reparations is.
If you think that you need reparations,
You better
that means
make
that you
science for
believe
you.
in the narrative. That means that you believe in their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you believe that they're natural to the planet because you have to reclaim something from them. right? A lot of our people talk about the ancestors, but you are the latest version of them, so they're not separate from you.
That's you in the past avatar.
So
That's literally you.
yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, people have an understanding of what they're willing to accept, and they don't go past that. So they'll say, well, I see this, but they're afraid of what they are subscribing to. They're afraid of it not being true. That's why they don't sit down with science.
Self-doubt.
And I'm going to come clean. People that know the science are still pushing division. That's why I literally say we can't trust our people. We can't. We're going to all have to undergo knowing how to walk again, being nomadic again. We're going to have to value and appreciate water again, right? We're going to have to value and appreciate sunlight, value and appreciate ants and plants. You're going to have to appreciate the universe again.
This world has left us too confused. And it's really sad that we allowed this world to distract us from our own species, from our people. You see what I'm saying?
We'll sit down with white people, but we'll shun our own. I just don't get it. At this point in my consciousness, I would not be seen within 5 to 10 fucking steps, 5 to 10 feet of a YT, a Asian, a Mexican, nobody at this stage of consciousness. There's no way that I can be in the same space as them. So I don't know how we're trying to reclaim our identity through them. That shit is weird. The obsession between American Indians and Africans is weird. It's really kind of predatorial.
Yeah.
Y'all don't see no one else and no one else in the world. None of our other children or nothing. You don't speak on nobody else. And I'm not talking about in a negative way. I'm just saying in general. If that's the case, you're not even trying to unify with our South American brothers. You're not even trying to unify with our Scottish sisters. You're not even trying to unify with our Australian brothers and sisters. You just trying to keep, that's what I'm saying. The narrative don't make sense. You basically saying fuck everybody that looks like us and it's only just us because we were on the landmass first. That's dumb as hell.
Yeah. It's just mental illness, you know what I'm saying? These are the same people who are still eating these people, like she says, sitting down with these people, but they're saying we're different.
That's cognitive dissonance, man.
And these are the people who say, "Oh, I don't want to get into the science." Oh, I'm not now. You're not a scientist. In the comments, you're saying we're different. We're completely different. There's huge differences. But when you come up on the panel, I'm not a scientist.
She said that she knew the science. You know what I'm saying? And requested up on her own and still said, "Oh, I'm not a scientist. I don't know." So then stop spreading division to my people. And then you seen how she was trying to attack me the whole time? I've been let it go. Soon as I say something, I'm putting a heartbreak emoji because I'm literally shook by an elder not knowing himself. And you classify that as judgmental, but you're the one spreading division. Sickness. Like Baby said, he only give men one chance. I'm the same way with women, especially elderly women. Because as women, we are the smartest people in the universe. We created everything that we see right now. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to nature, when it comes to everything that comes through biogenesis, we created that. So why wouldn't you want to study yourself? Why wouldn't you want to study the womb that you're in?
Exactly.
But everybody's so connected and so spiritual. Why? Why are you spiritual? You see what I'm saying? What's the reason for you being spiritual? You don't know nothing about this realm for you to even be considering yourself to be spiritual. Spiritual means beyond the things that you can see. So again, why aren't you studying cells? Why aren't you studying morphic resonance? Why aren't you studying quantum science and using it to debunk mechanical science? So that's my thing. Y'all love coming on here 12 hours a day, debunking history, but I can't debunk his science. Science explains spirituality, so I don't know how y'all not doing it. She said she got to take care of her children. It can't be that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, look, we see it in real time. Our people don't care about their children like they're supposed to. Even the ones that say they do. Even the ones that say they do. Taking your child to school and bathing them and feeding them does not mean that you care about your children.
Exactly. Putting clothes on your children don't mean you care about them.
Yeah, man.
That's not going to help them throughout their immortal life, mind you. You're birthing immortal starseeds.
Literally.
That's going to continue living on. And you're introducing them to an artificial system that it just got here and is ready to go on its way out. This 7,000 years that we went through is just a speck in our immortal life.
But I'm not trying to throw shade at that. What I'm talking about on a global scale, because we are desensitized to the truth. Yep. Because we are rugged up at birth. Because of 32, 34 shots, it creates this divide between mother and child. You see what I'm saying? A lot of the shots that they're giving women when they're in birth and the shots that they give the children literally create disassociation, because it messes with the oxytocin levels that are being produced naturally by the mother to create the bond between her and the child. So I'm not just saying that just to be mean. I'm saying that because we're not like this genetically and naturally. Something unnatural had to take place to how we express our genes. Something had to taint it. Something had to distort it for us to get like this. It is when it comes to something as simple as studying, making sense of your reality. I just want our people to see how easy it is to know yourself just by studying.
Exactly.
That's what it is. I'm like, damn, all they had to do was read a book. Damn, all they had to do was go outside. All they had to do was observe. You see what I'm saying? These YT scientists, they studying us. And we not really studying them. We do a quick little Google search and think we got it all figured out. You see what I'm saying? We not sitting down trying to structure our thoughts and what we see.
Yeah.
That's not good, because if you can't articulate it to me, you're not articulating it to a child. If you can't tell me, you can't tell a child. It's an excuse.
And that's
it's an
excuse,
man.
We can't just bring up the word mutations and say that our people are getting the same mutations as them. That's why we're the same as them. When we can clearly see that all diseases, all disorders, all come from these animals. They gave it to us. You're showing me, you're trying to show me these things when our people are still being enslaved all over the planet, still being subjugated to scientific experiments. You see what I'm saying? Those mutations, those different what's it called, diseases, it can only happen if something unnatural took place to the cell's growth and development, natural trajectory in its DNA. If something with star DNA has its own life path and only supposed to be utilizing sunlight, and then it gets introduced to meat, to antigens, light pollution, there's going to be adverse effects happening to this species, to this organism. And when we're all over the planet, so-called black, the reason why we're brown is because we are a host of over 200, a host of over 2,000 parasites. Unless you can tell me what all those parasites in the body does to our red blood cells to say something, then you can't talk. You can't tell me nothing. 2,000 parasites in our body. Maybe a parasite 1,598 affects you here, but parasite 2,000 exactly is affecting them. And you, now that these two poisons are affecting you differently, now you think you're different. No. How can that be if you have this same genetic structure? See, like the mother of life, she came up here and put up a picture. You came up here and put up a picture, but didn't tell me the genetic and biological differences. The hair growing out of the organism that you showed me, it shows that it didn't show animal DNA. It didn't show animal hair. It showed like her electromagnetic hair that's growing but due to being chemically and hormonally imbalanced, now she's growing that. That's what I saw.
I would have needed to see proof of congenital hypertrichosis, not acquired hypertrichosis or possible hirsutism. Like, because people come in here and they, like I said, I'll never forget when the brother was trying to tell me that her was trying to talk whatever he was trying to say about hirsutism when we had to explain that to him. That excessive hair doesn't have anything to do with it. It's about the mechanism, right? You need ovaries to be affected by hirsutism because that is a byproduct of polycystic ovarian syndrome that they've just recently changed to PMOS, which is polycystic, something dealing with the metabolism now, which we've always known that. But again, the truth is coming out. So they're changing the name, but whatever. We got to actually, when I say genetics, you got to start with the genome. You got to start with the cell. Then there would be nothing for you to be on about, because then you would be saying that this is a YT or an Asian person or a Mexican or a Dravidian. And we can clearly see phenotypically that that woman was not that. The sister said that was a medical picture, a medical picture, a medical picture.
Are you discussing Lizzie?
Go ahead and tell us why you requested up. Welcome up.
I mean, because I disagree mostly. But yeah, I'm open to.
Yeah, evolution is the biggest lie ever told. How do you feel about the prompt?
I mean, shit. Wow. I can think of huge lies, but I don't even think evolution is a lie. I don't think that we can even say it. I mean, evolution is both a fact and a theory. So I don't know how a fact could be a lie.
Go ahead and explain, expand, elaborate on that, please.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so a theory, right, is different from a hypothesis in that a theory is just an explanation of observed, phenomenon.
Yeah, we
And
got you with that. Thank you so much for that explanation. But can you go ahead and tell me how the evolution theory is real and not the biggest
well,
lie?
that's a different question now.
That's what's on the board, and that's what we
Right.
asked
But
you.
that's what I was going to actually. Thank you. I was already going to go there.
Go ahead then. Go there then.
So I mean, from the genetics to the homologous structures to the fossil record to embryonic development, right? We know for a fact that species undergo a process of natural selection over the course of millions of years in a process we call evolution. And we can see evolution even when it comes to like gnats on a very quick scale, viruses on a very quick scale. And so these are things you could actually witness for yourself, right? But when it comes to species that have longer lifespans, because they have longer gaps between generations, unlike a fruit fly that lives like what, a day, you're not going to be able to live long enough to see that. So you have to look at the fossil record. In evolution, not only is it saying that this happened, we have particular predictions, right? So one prediction that evolution made was that there's going to be a transitional creature between land and sea animals, right? I think it's called like Tatalik, at a certain layer of sediment, and they found it. And so that is how we know evolution is true.
Okay, gratitude for sharing that. Go ahead, Shadow.
I disagree. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and share your thoughts and visions on the prompt, man.
My box isn't lighting up. Evolution could be real, but I think the focus on the picture is the theory of evolution, and that's not real. We have no idea what happened millions of years ago, and if you look at the theory of evolution, it's still missing some of the most important components.
Wait, what are you saying that you disagree with evolution? Right? Like what's on, like you agree with the prompt, but you disagree with evolution.
Yeah. So, because the last guy brought up, he brought up natural selection, and that's kind of an assumptive thing. So I agree with the prompt like 100%. I was just trying to point him into the right direction because I mean we can't really disagree with it because there's no proof of it, right? We don't have any evidence of any animals turning into a different animal today. We don't have any evidence of in between species today. So like obviously like it can't be real.
I mean,
Okay.
so what would that look like? Because I feel like evolution is something that happens to populations over millions of years, right? We
Yeah,
do
but
see things
you
mutate a
said it
little.
happens within species, but didn't say the species that it's happening to. You
It
see what I'm
happens. I
saying?
mean,
So that's why
look
I
at
asked
Earth.
you. You're saying the evolution theory is real, but what
Yeah.
kickstart evolution is a prokaryote changing into a eukaryote. Well, can you go ahead and tell me the morphological and biological and genetic process of how that happens to kickstart what you would classify as evolution, where animals change into different animals and now coming to you as a human?
Right. I think that's about dividing your genetic material, right? So you're right. That is necessary. However, that's separate from evolution. It's almost like saying, how did life start? Well, evolution doesn't answer that question. And evolution is not supposed to answer the question of how you transition from a eukaryote to a prokaryote. I mean, you can use it as a tool, but evolution is still true regardless of the explanation of that certain fact.
It's just talking about how prokaryotes and eukaryotes are in existence, and the base theory or the base premise of evolution is how haploids turn into diploids, which has not been proven. They say that this happened, but nothing within the theory actually suggests that it does. So when you're saying that, well, it's a factual thing, well, what about it actually is factual? Because when we look at the like being able to calculate a little frequency, that simple division equation would let us know that evolution wouldn't be plausible for every single species here on the planet. And it would quite literally debunk most of them, most of what they're saying about these organisms that are evolving, because we can calculate the mutations. And if we can pinpoint where the mutation is happening, we can link it back to and observe why this mutation would have happened. And all mutations happen because of the sun with eukaryotes.
That's
Exactly.
interesting. That's interesting. I wouldn't say that all mutations happen because of the sun, but the sun definitely drives the mutation, right? That's why, I mean, that's part of the reason why certain people have melanin is to protect you from your DNA from UVB radiation, right? Populations that are exposed to a lot of sunlight but don't have melanin, their DNA is going to be changed because of the sunlight. However, the human body is not perfect, right? So when the body undergoes mitosis, you're not necessarily going to always get a perfect copy, especially as you get older and your telomeres shrink, right? And so because of that imperfect process, you can have random mutations within an individual, right? And that random mutation may get passed on. And the environment determines which mutations are favorable or not. Some mutations are neutral. Some mutations are disadvantages. Some mutations are advantages. So if you understand all that and can agree up to there, I don't see what you disagree with about on
When you're
evolution.
talking about the mutations being mutual, you're referring to symbiotic relationships. And again, when
Oh,
it comes
I said neutral, neutral.
right, yeah, neutral, you also mentioned like
Yeah,
you
neutral with
explained
advantage.
commensurate. Okay, I'm not really trying to do the over talking and shit at this
Yeah,
point.
when you
No,
said
yeah, my fault.
when you was talking about the sun doesn't make mutation, yes it does. Mutation happens because of radiation. Solar radiation is the primary cause of mutation. You see what I'm saying? And again, natural species in nature, they don't mutate. You see what I'm saying? They genetically evolve within their own genetic pool. You're not going to see a giraffe through its evolutionary path change into a rhino. It's going to consistently upgrade its own genetics. You see what I'm saying? There's an upgrade that's happening with all prokaryotic life. So that's why the type of melanin that you have is explaining your DNA. So the reason why white people, Asian people, Arabs, and Dravidians can't take the sun is because y'all have vitrosynthetic EU melanin and vitrosynthetic pheomelanin. So that's like when you're talking about the radiation and things like that. So-called black people can absorb the whole light spectrum through what we call black body radiation. You see what I'm saying? According to physics, we are the perfect absorbers of sunlight, which makes us, you see what I'm saying, the most intelligent beings on in the universe, because through cymatics, the most intelligent beings in the universe is the one who can absorb the most sunlight. So if we're the most intelligent beings, who naturally selected y'all, or who naturally selected the eukaryotic cell to say that they're the latest prototype of us? But again, this species is undergoing photocarcinogenesis and chromosomal deletion under the same sun that they're trying to tell us naturally selected them.
Okay. Are you two formally educated? I'm just
Go ahead
curious.
and answer what I just said, please.
I do want to answer what you just said. I'm just saying, I'm. If you're not, I'm very much impressed. You guys should definitely pursue science further. But anyways, um, the issue with what you said is that I acknowledge that the sun causes radiation. In fact, I said specifically UVB radiation is why certain people have melanin, right? In certain places where UVB radiation is high, because that will damage sort of DNA, right? The other pressure that allows people to have lighter skin is that you have less UVB radiation in places like Europe, right? However, that comes at the expense that, hey, you also need vitamin D. Vitamin D is important for reproduction of both men and women, right? In order for women to, if women do not get enough vitamin D, it can cause their pelvis to actually shrink. I think a condition might be called rickets or something like that, right? If men don't get vitamin D, it also negatively impacts your fertility. The same can be said, by the way, of UVB light and what it does to folate in both men and women in terms of reproduction. So those are the selective pressures. Yes, I can acknowledge that sunlight causes mutations. Correct. It is not the only thing that causes mutations, because, like I said, the human body, most prokaryotes don't have a perfect process of mitosis. There are errors, and we have actually, is it called DNA transcriptase, right? There are enzymes that are specifically designed to fix these errors that happen, right? They may fail. They have a failure rate. And so because they failed, there are random mutations. Obviously, there are people who, unfortunately, God forbid, right, get cancer. That is because of that failure of that mechanism. That is a mutation of some sort where the cell no longer obeys the natural life cycle. So if we all agree that you said things evolve to get better, by the way. So you believe in some form of something similar to evolution. You correctly understand that evolution has specific claims, a specific framework, and you reject that, right? But if you
Okay.
only reject that on the basis of not understanding endosymbiotic theory, then I'm not really getting what we have to debate here. You just direct you reject endosymbiotic theory. You don't reject evolution. It sounds like.
No, when I literally said to you, a giraffe through his own evolutionary path is going to upgrade its genetics biologically and morphologically for that species. It's not going to change into a rhino through thousands of years. So I don't believe in the evolution theory. You see what I'm saying? I believe in cosmic evolution, which happens through DNA. You see what I'm saying? Specific DNA types, which are melanin types. So you didn't explain to me when I asked you again, um, the different melanins. I said that there's different melanins that exist. You don't just go from darker to light. That doesn't just happen. Because again, you will have to now explain to me, how does neuromelanin, when it gets exposed to photons, now transition into vitrosynthetic eumelanin, vitrosynthetic pheomelanin, and vitrosynthetic neuromelanin? Because so-called black people have been reproducing on this planet for eons of years, And we've never created a white man or a white woman, or Asian man or Arab. We've never did this through none of our history, no era. We've never done this because we don't have the genetic information, the proteins, the enzymes to produce y'all. So again, y'all don't come from us, and y'all have introgressed genes, which means you share genomics with multiple different organisms to make up your organisms. You see what I'm saying? Y'all can't absorb UVC radiation, not even UVB. This is why when you look at the UV index chart, they tell you after about 30 minutes to an hour, go inside, put your air conditioning on, because you're not able to absorb the heat, pressure, and vibration of the sun. The sun, if you saying the sun is what mutates organisms, you see what I'm saying? How is it that when the sun hits your organism, is not mutating it, so-called mutating it to become an autotroph or somebody who can absorb sunlight? Is actually deleting y'all and unaliving y'all. This is what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, it's not that he's calling you a sun dodger. You're bringing up UVB and you're never minding UVC radiation. So that's the thing. Your cells may be able to interact with UVA and UVB rays, but your people have never been able to biosynthesize the full spectrum of UVC radiation, which we have now seen ground level in the last 11 years. As a byproduct of that, millions of y'all each year get unalived by the sun and undergo photocarcinogenesis and these other different, or these other mutations like SLOS phenotype, the 1p36 syndrome, and that Q132. Every single chromosome that is connected to the eukaryotic cell, i.e., y'all, is being depleted because of the sun. It's literally breaking down the nucleus. So, you know, I heard something else that he said too, but I can't remember. Like,
Facts. I wanted to say something else about what you said too, but I can't put my finger on it. But all I'm saying is that so-called black people, we don't genetically and biologically produce mixed animal hybrids because we don't have animal DNA. We don't have eukaryotic cells. We are made up and composed of prokaryotes. And prokaryotes in nature never turn into eukaryotes, nor do we engulf each other to make y'all. So there's no genetic and biological explanation for y'all existence except synthetic biology, which is genetic splicing, genetic engineering.
So I mean, come on now. The issue with that is that on face value, right? Um, let's say Europeans are eukaryotic, and then I guess whatever you consider yourself as prokaryotic. How the hell would we be able to reproduce?
because of introgression, and prior to introgression, y'all were unable to procreate with y'all cells because the pelvic floor inlet that you're talking about wouldn't have allowed for it. Sexual dimorphism wouldn't have allowed for it. Y'all have undergone more genetic engineering over time, so y'all didn't. There was a literal incompatible DNA that we see with y'all and expressed through incomplete dominance. So y'all can only and again, y'all need a lot of blood tests before even having children with each other due to incomplete dominance and your DNA not being able to match up with each other.
Yeah, when so-called black people procreate with everybody outside of us, zoonotic diseases starts to take place. If we're all one human species, there should be no diseases taking place amongst us at all. But the fact that there is means that there's two different species that's trying to mix their DNA material together, and it's incompatible, which is resulting in this disease, which means the cells are out of harmony. So that's why, like, she said that y'all seminal fluids was wiping us out like continent after continent. That's what history was about, on how you went from continent to continent to poison so-called black people, but y'all did it with your reproductive organs. It holds so many toxic metals and fluids like uric acid from purine, with that comes from your DNA, that is affecting our red blood cells and how they reproduce. And when our red blood cells starts to unalive more than they reproduce, red blood cell hemolysis starts to happen. You see what I'm saying? Our whole brain and circle of Willis has been infiltrated because the lymphatic system is shut down. Every time we introduce an antigens to our body, we're shutting down our immune system. Every time we add sugar into our body, we shut down our immune system. Every time we add meat and carcinogens into our body, we shut down our immune system. So all diseases, all venereal diseases is coming from the fact that we are mixing DNA with each other, and the fact that y'all are unnatural amongst each other as well. That's what she was saying. When a white man and a white woman reproduce, that's incomplete dominance. They're not even the same species to be reproducing with each other as well, because the percentages of animal DNA within them varies, and they can have different animals that make up their genomics. So that's unnatural. So we were not naturally reproducing with each other.
I mean, I feel like you kind of called me monkey in so many words, but there's just so much said there. I mean, one, like, obviously I'm not a single celled organism, so I'm not a prokaryote. I don't have some sort of tail flagella that I use to move around, right? But also, like, the idea that, okay, we have a mixture, or that Eurasian people, right, are a mixture of things. Oh, you're right. I'm eukaryotic. I don't think y'all are single celled organisms. My bad. I got it backwards. But yeah, the idea that we're so much different, and somehow the introduction of European, or whatever you want to call it, DNA is destroying people, and all of that is interesting. I think I think I've heard it from, like, some type of Nation of Islam conspiracy group and all that. And I think it's interesting how you guys have combined some actual scientific ideas, like grafted it onto it. But is there any, like, experiment that y'all have carried out, or someone has carried out to,
We
like,
were having a
verify this stuff?
conversation about what we both know about science. You see what I'm saying? You need to explain to me how so-called black people have animal DNA. You need to explain to
I
me
can
how the
in a second.
so-called black woman obtained the animal protein enzymes to create an unnatural species. Because you're telling me I'm calling you a monkey, but your scientists are saying that you share 98% of your genomics with monkeys. Your scientists are saying that I'm not. You want me to pull up a source saying that humans share DNA with animals, but it's out there. You see what I'm saying? You have animal DNA. You can't prove to me how so-called black people and your people are the same species. We
Right.
have two different cellular types. We don't need organelles. We don't need internal membranes, and nor do we have a nucleus to function our cells. We have neuromelanin granules within our cells.
Would you
Right.
say that your psyche and your psychological development is connected to your genetics? Like, would you agree with that statement?
Are you gonna tell me that white people don't got pineal glands that is calcified? Is
I'm
that
just
where we're going?
asking you a yes or no question.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Would you agree that your psychological development is directly connected to your genetics?
To an extent, yes. Absolutely direct. Yes, it's directly impacted. Yes, yes.
Okay, so to answer your question, because you said, have there been any experiments? Yes, 1950s, we can take it back to Dr. Amos Wilson, who broke down several aspects of a study talking about the difference in the psychological development between so-called Black children and specifically YT children, and how our children actually are a lot more advanced than any other child in this world. That's pinned on my page. You can see the book for that. That book is only like 60 to 80 pages long. Why Darkness Matters is written by Dr. Layla Africa, and he breaks down the specifics when it comes to our anatomy and the difference in our melanin type. And then you also have Why Darkness Matters, which is written by 4BOK neuroscientists. So if you can agree that your body is built around the brain and the nervous system, then you can agree that we're not the same species. We can
Simple.
look at it in sports, when sports literally test cognition and even metacognition as well. I played sports my entire life, so I know muscle memory and reflexology, and how that has always been different between me and other children, specifically because I ran cross country, I ran track, and even in track, I ran mid distance, short distance, and long distance. Right. I also hooped and I played volleyball, and I'm very good at whatever position that I learned. So I played multiple positions against different people across several years. I know when it comes to our reflexes, we're not the same. Test the experiment next time when you're at a stoplight. Let's see who'll leave the stoplight first, you or me. Like, test it out when we are in the sun 8 to 12 hours today, minimal water, right? And we'll see who's actually biosynthesizing the sun and who's undergoing acute body radiation. We can see the phenotypical differences, which is a direct explanation for what's taking place within the genetics.
Yep.
So
Simple.
I mean, these are dangerous ideas, very much dangerous ideas. I mean, throughout the 19th century, this was used to justify slavery, justify the treatment
On
of
who? Justify slavery on who?
who was doing that to who?
Yeah, who was doing it to who?
black people, of Native Americans, of non-white people, of non-Europeans. So this idea that we're biologically so
Wait,
different.
hold on. You're saying that our people did that to other people outside of us?
I don't say anything about your people doing it. Your people
No,
are
we didn't hear you. It kind of cut out. What are you
My
saying
bad.
that?
You said in the 19th century it was being used on for slavery. So who was it being used on?
by it was being used on by black people. I'm sorry, on black people, on Native Americans, on non-white populations. So, I mean, I think it's dangerous for that reason. And
YT people was using it against people that actually share genetics and biology to the planet, like Schmittler, right? And then we get to 2008, where Obama is literally Schmittler's grandson.
Exactly. So
Like-
people been lying about our genetic makeup and using history to do that. But now that when so-called black people are saying, the history and science you gave us is a little misconstrued. We don't actually have animal DNA. Now I'm using the same things that these people were using. Well, they used to say our woman was filled with diseases. They used to say our woman was 3/5 of a human. You see what I'm saying? But then you will mass grape us to mix your DNA with us, but we're the ones filled with diseases. That makes no sense to me.
so you admit that you're part white. You know that you're part white.
No, there's no,
No,
I'm
you
not part
said-
white. That's
You
not what I
just
said.
You just said you're mixed. That we mixed you up.
We're mixed with diseases.
You said
Meaning that antigens are diseases. We're mixed with diseases. Meaning that my DNA is not going to change into vitrosynthetic eumelanin or pheomelanin with their DNA going inside of me. Their DNA is going to break down to the simplest proteins, which is antigens. And when those antigens attach themselves to the red blood cells, they steal the vitamins, the nutrients from the red blood cells, calling red blood cell hemolysis. And they give us zoonotic disease. I'm confused how I've been saying zoonotic disease and you still trying to say that we're the same species. This isn't
Right.
about black people and white people. This
Y'all
isn't
give it-
about
y'all-
this
yeah.
isn't about skin color. So-called black people, we are a neuromelanated organism. The suit that we're walking in is a crystalline hydrocarbon suit. The suit that y'all are walking in is a mucous membrane suit that is naturally inflamed when it gets in the sun. That's
Made of what elements? Made of what elements?
made of what elements? Okay,
Yeah.
you're made up of sulfur dioxide. You're not. And again, the thing is, y'all are not really made up of elements in the periodic table that are natural. You are isotope, isolated, synthetically made in a lab with calcium ionophores. That's what they use. That's the smallest building block of your cell of your cells to create a DNA sequence for your anatomy. So again, this is what they do. Y'all are genetically made in a lab. You calcium ionophores is what y'all have. You don't have atoms. You see what I'm saying? Those calcium ionophores are little nanobots. This is created, not by the universe.
I mean, okay, let's put this out there, right? Um, when you say someone is animal, it doesn't really make sense because human beings are part of what kingdom? The animal kingdom. What family? The hominids, the great apes, right? What genus? The homos, right? And what species? Homo sapiens specifically. So yeah, we're all animals. There's no one who's like part animal or something like that. That's very much dehumanizing language that again was used against black people. Same language, dehumanizing language, right? But then also, let's say that Caucasians are this different thing. Well, how different could Caucasians really be? Because a donkey and a cheetah are both animals. They cannot mate. They're in the same kingdom. They cannot mate. In fact, organisms usually, even if they're the same genus, cannot mate. Right?
You just
But
named
doesn't that
So then we have to be very close if we can reproduce with one
just
another.
named two different species, one in which is prokaryotic and one is eukaryotic. And science, that's
Exactly.
what I was going to tell him earlier.
Do you know what those phrases mean?
Yep,
Because
I'm
I
getting
don't
ready
think
to
you
tell
do.
you. I'm getting ready to tell
I
you.
don't think you do.
Science is explaining the functionality. So when it comes to prokaryotic, it's referring to how the cell gets all of its genetic material from one single embryological origin, and how eukaryotes get all of their genetic material from multiple origins. So a donkey has introgress genes. Let's just get that out. Donkeys, mules, horses, cows have introgress genes, meaning that their genetics leads us back to genetic engineering. A cheetah is a prokaryotic organism because it has a single set of chromosomes and all of its genetic material is from one origin, meaning that it is 100% of a cheetah. There is no other genetic material to make this cheetah a so-called cheetah. But a penguin, for example, has seal DNA, right? With other fish DNA and other organisms to make it a so-called penguin. It also struggles with being able to live in its so-called habitable environment. They're saying that a penguin is supposed to be in a cold, snowy environment, but it struggles in that environment. It struggles to find food. It struggles to feed its children. It struggles to stay warm because it's not natural. It actually does better in the warmth when it warms up and there's no snow. And when they're underwater at that, right under the, I can't think of what it's called because they don't really go that far down. As is, when you look at their physiology, it does not seem that their physiology is working in unison with each other. Again, their behavior is expressing their genetics, meaning that their cells are not in harmony with each other. And again, humans, y'all, animal man shares DNA with these unnatural organisms. Our people have never in history been connected to animal DNA. What they're referring to is the antigens that are attached to the red blood cells. So the people that are talking about sickle cell don't understand antigens, right? The people that are saying that we're the same as all these other people don't understand antigens, because just because my cell becomes tainted with foreign substances does not make me the same as someone whose cells are naturally producing animal proteins and enzymes.
Yep, exactly. So human is animal man, bro. You have animal DNA. So-called black people don't fall under no taxonomy on this planet because we're beyond this planet. So go ahead, sway something. We're gonna tap back into you, tree god, but go ahead, sway for something.
I
Yeah, it's going.
brought Sway for something up because he was trying to say that this was racist, and I'm trying to
Yes, it was.
figure out. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how this discussion has to do with race when we're discussing genetics.
Well, earlier when I came in and made that statement, you were saying something about white tea people. I think you meant white people, right?
Right, we're talking about their genetics.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys think that we're not the same species?
Why were you saying that we were racist when this conversation that you've been sitting on is about genetics? That's why I brought you up here.
No, in the moment that I came in, you were saying some racist stuff. I wish I could remember exactly.
Thanks for coming. You didn't answer my question.
Okay, so you're saying we're racist because we're speaking about the genetic structures in our DNA and how it differs to the genetic structures in your DNA, which creates the phenotype. How is that racist? Where does race come in at? If race has nothing to do with biology and biology is the study of life, where does race come in at in life? Nah, and that's what I want to know. Race doesn't exist. Only species exist. That's why giraffes are going to procreate with only giraffes. Lions are only going to procreate with lions because they understand that this organism has the same phenotype as me. I shouldn't be procreating with the cheetah. They have the intelligence to procreate with their species. We have a completely different phenotype than y'all, but we're procreating with y'all because we're in an artificial system that's trying to merge our DNA together. That's what's happening. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let me. Shadow, did you have something that you wanted to add? Maybe you've been listening for a minute.
I just want to say it's really not that hard to understand what's being said if you take out your emotions and just rebut them. Like if you really got an issue with what they're saying, then just rebut them. But they'll say something and then like you'll come back and be like you'll come back with an emotional statement like the last exchange. You said something about it was basically racist too. And it's like just rebut their premises and their statements. Don't add emotion into it. Just use your logic. Oh well, he's gone now.
Yeah, we only took him off because we couldn't mute him.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wouldn't let us mute him, and he wouldn't mute. So he can request back up though.
Yeah, Tree God, come back
come
up.
back up so
I had
we
to do
can.
that so I can hear the brother speak, but you can come back up. You see what I'm saying? I just want you to explain to me because you have a lot of I have a lot of questions too that hasn't been answered. Like, how do we go from prokaryote to eukaryotes?
Go ahead, Black God.
Yes, peace to everybody in the panel. I would like to add a little something to the conversation. So my viewpoint, no, not my viewpoint, but the information I want to give is that no, we don't come from monkeys. No, we don't come from gorillas, but we do have, we do have a connection. Not we, the original man, not we, the black man, but we know today, and we can prove through science that the monkey and some form of gorillas are actually descendants of white people. There is a scientific research that has been done and published by a surgeon, a French surgeon who was called Serge Voronov. I will try to put it in the comments so you can look it up. And he wrote a book about, it was called The Grafting, Rejuvenation Through Grafting. And in this book, he wrote, because he was actually trying to graft testicles from monkeys to put it back on the testicles from older white men to try to rejuvenate white people. And after his research, he said that the gibbons, chimpanzees, and the orangutangs, I think you say it like that in English, are actually the descendants of white people. So that's not only a theory, it's actually a fact and a scientific fact. And that's one of the points. There is a lot of other stuff that we can say and we can prove. For example, the rhesus, I think you said the rhesus monkey genotype is found between 85 and 95% in Europeans, not in Africans or black men of black people. So it's actually a true statement to say that the monkey are descendants from white people. Actually, all white men and white women are devolved from their original state. I could tell you the story of how it happens, but I think it's not the time. But yeah, that's a little information I wanted to add on. But I can give you the source, and I will put it in the comments.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that if you could, if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
I just wanted to say one thing. They didn't descend from these animals. These animals were genetically spliced and sequenced into their DNA. You see what I'm saying? These are a created species on this planet. Nature didn't naturally change this planet from a monkey to a man. Just like you said that the doctor was trying to add the testicles from a monkey to them to try to help them keep procreating. That's artificial selection. That's synthetic
Yes.
biology. That's genetic splicing. That's genetic editing.
That's actually how white people came to birth on this planet, through grafting. So it was a cell natural selection that happened with them. But my point is not to say that we are only that white people are descended from monkeys, but that is actually all the way around. That, and even like I said, the scientific research can prove that actually. Did you know that even today in 2026, you still have white families in some form of Europe, some region of Europe and Turkey, who still walk on all fours and don't have how do you say it, a speech deficiency. That means that they cannot pronounce words, just like monkeys actually. They cannot produce words, they cannot speak, and they walk on all fours. I will put it all in the comments so you can look it up,
All
because
right,
I'm not
thank
lying.
you. All right, I
And
appreciate.
it is called atavism. So ATAVISM.
Yeah, I can
And
type it. Atavism.
Yeah,
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 atavism.
and
And
that.
it's actually, yeah.
Go ahead.
nah,
So
yeah,
just to
go ahead.
finish, atavism is actually, they call it a resurgence of a genetic trait that was in you in past generations. So basically, if you had something a couple of generations down, it can reproduce itself generations in the future. You know, whether it is a sickness, whether it's like it can be anything, but that's actually what they call atavism. So, and that's one of the proof that they still of how the monkey evolved over time from white people.
Yeah, gratitude for that. The atavism is really just, yeah, it doesn't really explain the full origin. It's really just talking, it's another talking point under evolution, but that's what the host is saying, is that when you do take it back to the cells that make up their all the genetics that make them up, it's going to link back to introgression and genetic engineering. Grafting is something a little bit different. It is a type of hybridization, but it's mainly used with fruits and plants. It's not really used for the fusion of like animal DNA and being able to connect like unnatural microorganisms, plants, animals, and insects to create like the full, so-called human genome. But that doesn't discredit anything that you said, by the way. Gratitude for sharing that with us. Eliza, you've been disagreeing with what we're saying in the comments. How do you feel about evolution?
It depends on like what your exact take is, because I haven't been here the entire live. But like, do you guys think that evolution isn't real?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
that's
biggest
why
lie ever
it's on
told.
the screen.
Okay, so what do you think like made us, here today? Like, what do you think? Are you guys religious or something?
I just said introgression and genetic engineering.
Okay, that is completely false because, science, evolution has been fact checked since like we've ever even discovered science. So to say these kind of things is harmful on the internet, and I feel like you can't really talk about like what exactly made us human if you aren't educated or have a higher educational background behind it, because you guys are just spewing nonsense on this, panel. Not just you guys, not you guys aren't really doing anything. It's the comments. I'm talking to the comments. Some of these people are literally saying that ice isn't natural because
Not.
it like has grass underneath it. Like people are saying nonsense, and I feel like this panel is creating a space where people are just saying things that are completely incorrect.
You could have just told us what you thought about evolution and actually explain the science. That's what we were asking you to do. If they're
People
wrong,
come up here with their emotions
yeah, they
heavy,
come up
y'all.
there. Oh, the people in the comments, and they're saying that tell us about how you feel about evolution. Okay, so again, you've been in here long enough to hear what we've been saying. I seen you. You've been in here for at least 45 minutes. All right, to catch a grip of what is being discussed, and we also have a prompt
Trying
to
to
let you
attack.
know.
Come
Yeah,
on,
so
man. Trying to
ice.
attack our brothers and
Yeah,
sisters in the comments.
there is ice that leads back to Sub-Zero Tech, right? When it comes to evolution theory, it is talking about that the existence of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, we can observe them, but the engulfment is not true. The engulfment has not been seen outside of a lab. That's why we want y'all to just come in here and explain to us what y'all know. But the people that don't know are the ones that say, oh, what do you know? And then they're trying to piggyback off of what we're saying. If you really understood this theory, you would just come and lay it down, man. You really would. You really would. Let's see. Go ahead, Cascade. Or who was it? Was it Cascade or oh yeah, that was a black guy. Go ahead, Cascade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Then
Can
we'll
you
get to
hear me?
educator. Yeah.
I'm not by any means will portray myself well read on this subject, but with little knowledge that I have, I wanted to ask also forward my opinion. I mean, we know that there is objective reasoning when we look at the DNA traits that we share, with animals, including banana, 60% DNA with banana, plants, and 98% DNA shared with chimpanzees. And these are objective deductions. So I just want to know do you have objective reasoning on your end to object this evolution point of view?
Yeah, the evolution theory and every theory that is suggested under it.
Yeah, prokaryotes never made banana DNA. It never made cow DNA. It didn't make chicken DNA, which are all introgress hybridized animals and organisms. So how did what's it called prokaryotes change into eukaryotes? How did a dog and a cat and a banana all get inside of your genome if we've
Yes.
never seen none of these organisms naturally reproduce in nature to do so?
Yes, sir. I can answer you by what Einstein said.
Oh,
Einstein said, can I answer? So Einstein said that if he was standing next to God when he created, he would have answer to
Can I
everything.
talk next?
Okay. Sorry?
yeah, go ahead. Peace.
So
Somebody
he
wasn't.
literally, he literally said that, okay? That I don't think we can be able to fulfill every gaps and holes within our life trajectory, where we were and where we're heading. I think science is the only culpable, feasible evidence. And that's what I would say. Thank you.
Wait, you're saying science is the most evidence that you have. I asked you, how did a banana find a fruit fly attractive? How did a pig find a dog attractive? How did a
Sir,
chimpanzee
sir,
find celery attractive to impregnate it over generations to have humans? Because again, your psychological state is connected to your genes. You see what I'm
sir,
saying? When
I
we
get that.
see,
But what I'm saying is that, to
go
be honest with
ahead.
you, I believe as someone whose knowledge is very limited, I believe that there is also a divine principle. Look at the Milky Galaxy. We are so tiny and minute, so irrational. But for us to reside in this perfect world, that we get oxygen, that we could get our medicine out of the soil, I think there's a divine principle in this, honest to you. Therefore, I don't have any answers to you. and with
Oh,
little knowledge that. Okay, thank you, sir. Have a good day.
So you child
wait,
the
what?
frontal lobe underdeveloped.
You told me the evolution theory was real, and I asked you how do prokaryotes change into eukaryotes. Then you led me on and said there was that we have chimpanzee DNA, we have banana DNA, we have all of this DNA, this common ancestor. So I'm asking you, if evolution happens through time and through generations, that means reproduction has to happen for generations to exist. So
Yes,
when did the banana impregnate the fruit fly, and when did the chimpanzee impregnate the dog to make you? When did these species naturally fuse together to make you?
I get you, but sir, let me answer this. But you're asking me the same question as which one came first, chicken or the egg? I wasn't there. Okay, I think you're asking
How
me
are
a
there still
very
monkeys when
Hold on for a second. You said you wasn't there, but you don't need to be there. You just need to have an understanding of prokaryotes and eukaryotes.
Yeah, he
And
left.
see, you're telling me you wasn't there, but you're trying to tell me about something you wasn't there about. So why are you telling me? Why would you tell me about something you wasn't there? You unsure, but then trying to say we all the same. There's no biological explanation, you see what I'm saying, of natural evolution of how the eukaryote came into being. You have multiple cells from different sources that are lab made. So how? That's what we want to know. You telling me about the chicken and the egg. I'm asking you about the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. Simple as that. This is wild that people come up here and try to say, "Hey, you don't know what you're talking about," but then they can't even explain to me the genetic material that they're trying to tell me. Because again, banana DNA, chicken DNA, that all falls under homeobox genes, which is what vitrosynthetic eumelanin, vitrosynthetic pheomelanin, and vitrosynthetic neuromelanin, which means lab-made melanins. Thank you.
Go ahead, educator.
I swear.
Hey, I just wanted to piggyback. I think the thing that people are, like you said, these people don't understand basic biology. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes, like I said before, is fifth grade. Like I'm sitting here listening to all these people saying that they have all these degrees. This is a fifth grade science. I taught science. This is fifth grade. Cells is an atom. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes are atoms. That's it. And then you broke. See, the sun is not going to argue with us on this planet. We just got hit with 17 solar flares, raw radiation. If you are natural to the planet, you don't need an ozone layer. You don't need to put lotions and potions on your body. You should be able to walk. If you're living in Arizona, you should be able to walk out there with no problem. You all can't do that. The sun is getting ready to separate us. See, the sun is not going to confuse whether or not what you're mixed with. The sun is going to say, are you natural or unnatural? And that's where we're heading to. This planet is ran off of solar energy. We don't need an ozone layer when we are natural to the cosmos and the planet. And that's what they're trying to explain to you all. But you have unemotional intelligence. Your frontal lobes are not fully developed. When you're receiving information from the right side of your hemisphere of your brain, it centers into the central nervous system and passes to the left side, which is the physical side, to the heart chakras and your root chakras, and you manifest your reality. You ought to even that's I just gave you physics 101. Electrons rule everything. Black women produce electrons. We have seeds in our ovaries. Dr. Delbert Blair, when God was a black woman. The reason why you all are having a hard time dealing with this is because everybody was lied to. But the funny thing about the sun don't lie. The sun tell you exactly if you're natural or not. You people know if you're natural or not. You know that. So stop coming on this app as if they don't know what they're talking about. No matter when, it's summertime. July, August is about to hit the planet. We already know what the sun is doing over in the Asian community. We see it on TV. They're telling you that y'all dropping like flies, all of you that are not natural. So what are you talking about? We're not lying. We're actually warning you so you can prepare yourself. This is happening whether you like it or not. The ozone layer is being removed. If you can't walk on this planet when the UV index is over 11, your scientists said if you're not natural to the planet, you only can be outside for 15 minutes. Black people don't have that problem. When the UV is 15, I'm outside when it's 100 degrees. I don't like Central. I'll be glad when Central Air can be taken off the planet because that's not natural. And did you know oxygen is an inorganic chemistry? That ain't natural either. But you all weren't taught basic biology. They gave you physics, biology, chemistry, and all you gotta do is pick up a biology book, pick up a 5th grade biology book. This information is in there. Sun is introduced heavily in 5th grade because the student's about to go to 6, 7, 8 in high school. Biology 101. This is introduced in 5th grade. How y'all don't know that? The sun tells you if you're natural or not.
Facts. The sun tells you if you're natural or not. A bar. We can end the live. Mic drop. We don't need to talk no more.
The sun tells you if you're natural or not.
And it doesn't matter if you're a microorganism, a plant, an insect, a nothing. Cooking.
They're gonna ask.
I don't know.
What source is the sun writing? What source is the sun writing?
You have a study.
They're gonna ask the sun. Do you have a study? When it's telling you not in English, it's telling you through photons that your ass is unnatural. It's telling you through chromosomal deletions that you're unnatural, and this is what we're telling you. You're going extinct. You're having a global extinction level event happen from a cellular level to your entire organism. So this is why our people have to be already shifting their mind outside of this system. And we can speed this up by not participating in the system that's poisoning us and stealing our children. We can easily do that. We can easily do that. So that's facts. Y'all can't absorb solar radiation. So how did nature naturally select you to be the most advanced prototype of so-called human to exist on the planet? When you're going back to not even being able to reproduce.
They can't even. Yeah. Go ahead. Who is this? Mred dot.
Yeah. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead and share your thoughts and visions on the evolution theory.
I was just speaking on the evolution, the biggest lie ever told. If we evolved from monkeys and apes, how are there still monkeys and apes?
Yep.
That's all I had to say.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. But what I gotta say to you, my brother, is you gotta study more about your genetics. Study more about neuromelanin. Study the different types of natural melanins that exist and how neuromelanin is connected through these different melanins in the ecosystem and how we're interconnected. And then I would suggest you should study unnatural melanins that exist, prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and this will structure what you're seeing more on the planet. You know what I'm saying? That's a good start that you have right there, because that is true. How are we still seeing the organisms that y'all said y'all evolved from? That means you would have shedded them old genetics and became this so-called new organism. But I appreciate energy coming up to the planet. I mean to to the panel, but I just say that you should research more.
Yeah, I'm just listening. But thank you for all your information and things that you're saying to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to mute up now.
Okay, I appreciate you for being receptive. Abundance. So yeah, we have 75 people in here. De-evolution is the biggest lie ever told. If our people are still spreading division, if our people are still thinking that this system is the way to go for them to have a better life or to be in a better state in their being, go ahead and tell me how this system is helping Black people advance biologically, neurologically, and chemically, and go ahead and tell me how these people are us and why we should be living with these people. See what I'm saying? And for the eukaryotic cells or the people who want to think like them, go ahead and tell me again, how do we go from prokaryotic cell to eukaryotic cell? That's all we want to know. You see what I'm saying? That's literally all we want to know, because once we all collectively get to that answer, we can now take the trajectory of life that we need to take. But like the mother of life said, the sun is already doing it. The sun is separating us. That's why we're even talking about this now. 10 years ago, 14 years ago, you wouldn't see a lot of people talking about the differences in DNA. You see what I'm saying? It will be taboo. But now, more and more, since more and more light is coming on inside the planet, more dormant parts of our brain is becoming unlocked. So we're starting to see the truth for what it really is. We're starting to see more of the animal features that y'all have and how it's affecting us. And the fact that we shouldn't be in the same society as each other at all. There's no reason for us to be in the same society. So the sun is removing the eukaryotic virus. Did anybody else want to add anything else? Go ahead, Shadow, and then we'll circle back around. But this has been a great live. I appreciate everybody coming in. You see what I'm saying? We are not all one human race. That is the biggest lie told to us. If you don't think that's the biggest lie told to us, come tell us what's really stopping so-called black people from ascension. Come tell us what's stopping the neuromelanated people from ascension. That's all we're asking. Go ahead, Shadow.
I don't really got much to say, bro. I don't know what y'all viewpoint is on religion, but even in the Bible, it talks about two different groups of people being on this planet. So that's one of the core historical books. There was a group here, and then there was a group that was put here, and the group that was put here was better than the natural group, which is why they were never supposed to mix. That's why there's rules in the beginning of the Bible about intermingling with other races. But yeah, I don't really got much to add, man. That's it.
Who do you think wrote the Bible and created the religions?
Uh, I think I think the people that created the Bible has a bunch of different authors because of the individual books, but the main people that created the Bible, uh, that was Constantine, and he did it on some greed stuff, but he did take other historical documents and works and put them into the Bible. So, like for instance, um, Genesis is a lot more complex than the Bible shows it to be. Like there's a reason why people were put here. There's a reason, and like there's multiple theories. Like there's multiple histories. One say that we people were genetically uh, modified in order to mine stuff for a foreign alien species, and then there's another one whereas um, there was already people here, and then a guy came and made people better. And then again with the Bible, you got the Bible where Adam and Eve was kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and they were put here, and then Cain slayed his brother, and then he was forced to go be with other people that were up until then weren't even mentioned in the Bible. So I mean, like there goes three different scenarios right there where I can't answer your question fully because there's not a singular idea when you're looking at all of it.
I'm pretty sure, no disrespect, my brother, like she just asked who created the Bible. But
Yeah, I said Constantine,
Constantine.
but she also asked who created the Bible and who created religion. And like those are two questions that can't be answered really because the Bible comes from a bunch of other books and religion comes from a bunch of other things in history.
Okay, the Bible, you see what I'm saying? The Holy Bible means Helios Biblios, which means the Sun Book. So when you actually understand what they're talking about in the Bible, they're actually breaking down your anatomy, your solar genetics inside of the Bible. It's a Bible talking about the beings of the suns and their genetics. So they write different metaphors and allegorical stories that coincide with our anatomy. You see what I'm saying? So I would suggest that you should learn, you know what I'm saying, more about your DNA, you see what I'm saying, which is neuromelanin and prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So when you do read historical books, when you do read different types of books, you'll be able to easily structure what they're saying because you have a foundational knowledge of science. So that's what I would say, because you were gonna say it was created.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was brought to Ethiopia by Frumentius, which he had to get permission from a YT king and queen to march into there and to spread religion. Religion was the number one thing that was spread on our people. That's what created the mentality for us to be how we are today and how we interact and perceive the world. So I don't believe that our freedom lies in the same thing that was forced on us by our oppressors. When the answer wouldn't be in that unless you understand the allegories and how the allegories relate to nature. And that is something that we see prior to coming in contact with these people, that we were never religious, that we were one with nature, that we didn't call ourselves gods or goddesses, that we called ourselves natural ones. These other people called us gods and goddesses. So I just wanted to see what you had to say about that. But does anybody have it want to come up? If not, it depends on how baby wants to facilitate the live, but I'm more than welcome. I don't have a problem with going live on my page too, so we can reach more brothers and sisters.
Yeah, like it was a great live today. We definitely got some more introspection on how our people is behaving across the planet, what is slowing down the progression of our species. You see what I'm saying? We really analyze that, and we really see the different behaviors of our people. People who talk to you, people who have no understanding of science and stuff like that, and tell you to look at the behavior of other people. Watch the behavior of the person telling you that. So even me, watch my behavior. It would tell you about me. Watch the behavior of organisms. Watch the behavior of systems. And you will understand what their intentions are. What is truly in their heart. What are they really trying to manifest? You see what I'm saying? Can I align with that manifestation? You see what I'm saying? What like, this is the type of things that we have to look at. So we've seen a lot of people. We've seen the eukaryotic cell come in here. They can't explain their existence. They can't tell us who they are. They can't say that they come from us. So we got to stop doing that shit. We got to stop creating an atmosphere to where they feel safe on this planet, to where they feel natural on this planet. If the sun is making them uncomfortable, if the planet is making them uncomfortable, we have to do the same thing. And we don't have to do that through violence. We don't have to do that through anger. We don't have to punish our own selves that way. We have to do it through intellect. We have to do it through knowledge, through wisdom, showing them that we have more emotional stability to deal with something that's so minute as them. They're only 7,000 years old, y'all. That's it. So, like, I appreciate everybody coming in. I love y'all receptiveness. I hope that we're all doing the research. We need you. You see what I'm saying? We'll be probably back on live like later on today, or we'll probably start soon, but on her page, so we can tap in again to other brothers and sisters and see who's really causing division and who's really bringing our people together. So abundance to y'all. Did anybody want to say anything?
I love the fact that you are out there teaching, and like you said, like I said before, the sun is cleansing the planet, and they're not ready for this. And the fact that their cells are being depleted, their scientists and doctors are not going to be honest with them. They didn't want to tell you about the zombie apocalypse. Instead of telling these people you have an acute radiation syndrome and acute body syndrome, radiation syndrome. You're going through two phases from the cell in the skin, and they're not telling them that. But hey, to each his own. They're going to find out the hard way. My dad said, my mom used to say, you fuck around and find out. Hard head make a small ass. They're going to find out, because the sun ain't going to play with us. I keep telling people the sun is not getting ready to play with us. So I'll be on your next live. Thank you guys so much, and good night.
Abundance for that. Facts. They're getting radiation sickness in the radiated planet, solar radiated planet, but they're saying they're evolving. That is so out of left field from the truth. But I appreciate that. Abundance for that. Yeah, we'll come back when the energy's right, probably in a few hours. You know what I'm saying? I think so. So thank y'all for coming in. I value y'all.